Oh, hey, baby. Oh, what is up? Okie doke. Ooh. Hey, everyone. Say hi. Kara is here, too. What's up? Who are you gonna vote for? Are you interested in this? No, not at all. She's just looking around for things to attack, as always. Hey, everyone. How are you guys? And are you all ready to suffer? What, did I mute this accidentally? Okay. This should start in a few minutes, so tell your loved ones goodbye. Tell them you're probably gonna end up killing yourself after this, just to make the sheer boredom end. Hello, Niwi. Hello, Ollie. I'm not doing too bad, young door. How about yourself? How are you guys' days before we ruin them? What the fuck is this audio? Are we gonna hear the actual audio or just the echo? This sounds weird. This sounds like they're talking in another room in my house or something. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Boner Man. Crossfaded and ready as fuck. Okay. I don't think the stream is ready, because I can't hear a thing. Stereo audio? Yep.
For any
Okay.
Kamala Harris's family.
I guess we're just stuck waiting, but we can talk in the meanwhile. Let's see what the chat is up to. What you guys are saying. Rolled my ankle at work, and it hurts like a bitch, but other than that, pretty okay. Well, that sucks. Awful day already. Oh, you're finally getting to see your dogs after 6 months. How come, Niwi? Have you been abroad? How do you turn off chat censor? It should be off, or as off as it can be, Boner Man. Neurology exam? Neurobiology exam, okay. This one is gonna be boring, what, as opposed to the last one, K-Duck? I'm doing good, Ultimate ID. Got invited to a fraternity, yeah. I bet they're waiting for the COVID test results. Well, apparently they're both negative, but they still have glass, or plexiglass or plexiglass? Plexiglass, I think. Panes between them. Jesus, Dark Fuhrer. Where do you live? 6:30 a.m., huh? Your Twitter likes keep me sane. Aw, thank you, Charlie Play. Kara is fine, Ollie. Thanks for asking. I don't know where she went, actually. But she's playing around. You know how she is. Probably about to scratch my feet. Or destroy something. Constanza, I'm good. But you probably shouldn't ditch homework. Not for my dumb ass. Certainly not for the fucking debate. Rayaman, I don't think they will have to mute the mic. I don't think that either Pence or Kamala are the type to yell over each other for prolonged periods of time. Okay, I see Navy. Chris Hansen Underoos, they need the pains now because
Good evening.
They want to show off.
University of Utah
there we
in
go.
Salt Lake City. Welcome
Good evening.
to the first and only vice presidential debate of 2020, sponsored by the Nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates. I'm Susan Page of USA Today.
Yes, I'm sure it's very nonpartisan.
To moderate this debate, an important
Slips
part
after this, we
of
could
our
watch Somewhere to
democracy.
Catch Predator.
In
Or anything
Kingsbury
else you guys
Hall
want.
tonight, we have a small and socially
As
distant
far as To Catch a
audience,
Predator goes,
and we've
we're
taken
at the
extra
Where Are They
precautions
Now
during this
episode.
pandemic. Among other things,
All right.
everyone in the audience is required to wear a face mask, and the candidates will be seated 12 feet
Is your
apart.
name really Pence?
The audience is enthusiastic about their candidates, but they've agreed to
does
express
suck
that
for you.
enthusiasm only twice, at the end of the debate
Hey,
and
JCB.
now, when I introduce the candidates. Please welcome California Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence.
Hey, Gentle Salmon. Oh, what? No masks? How rude. How disgusting. Glass panes, but no masks. Is Pence haram? Ah, it's a good question, just here.
Senator Harris and Vice President Pence, thank you for being here. We're meeting as President
Thank you,
Trump and
Bobby.
First Lady continue to undergo treatment in Washington after testing positive for COVID-19.
Goros, is
We
that
send our
free and
thoughts
on
and
YouTube?
prayers to them for their rapid and complete recovery.
If so, sure,
and for
why
the
not?
recovery of everyone afflicted by the coronavirus.
That
The
one
two
Mexican,
campaigns
that's
in the
why when I was
admission of
photoshopping this
presidential
bitch, I went
debates
with
have agreed to the ground
Milena
rules for tonight.
instead of,
I'm here to enforce them.
you know, fucking
on
Cassie
behalf
Cage or
of the
something.
Millions of Americans who are watching. One
The
note,
creepy
no one in
psycho
either
smile angle
campaign
plays better
or
than
at
the cop
commission
angle, in my
or
opinion.
anywhere else has been
This woman
told
is
in
such a
advance what
sociopath, she
topics
can't
I'll
even
raise
fake a
or
human
what
laugh.
questions I'll
Just
ask.
wait until she has to laugh in this one.
This 90-minute debate will be divided into 9 segments.
It's like usually
of about
people
10
enjoy
minutes.
laughing. For her,
I'll begin a
it
segment
just
by
feels like a
posing
chore.
question to
Like,
each
oh
of you.
shit,
Sometimes
here I
the
go
same
again. I have to
question,
pretend to be
sometimes a
human.
different question on the same topic. You will then have 2 minutes to answer without interruption by
Hey,
me
Sela.
or the other candidate. Then we'll take 6 minutes or so.
I don't know
to
yet,
discuss the issue.
soy boy.
At that point, although there will always be more to say, we'll move on to the next topic. We
Pence
want
just looks like a
debate that
retired
is
Graydon.
lively, but Americans also deserve a discussion that is civil.
Do they?
These are tumultuous times.
Do
but
you
we
guys?
can and will have a respectful
Do you really
discussion
deserve a
about the
respectful
big issues
discussion? What have you done to earn it? In all
Let's
earnest.
begin with the ongoing pandemic
Come
that has
on.
cost our country so much.
I think we all know that's far too generous.
Senator Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even
She
if a
looks so
vaccine is
happy
released
that
soon,
she's not
the
had
next
to laugh yet.
administration will face
But
hard
she knows it's
choices.
coming up, like an
What
exam.
would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose
Motherfucker,
new
guys, we
lockdowns
forgot to
for
set up a drinking
businesses
game
and
for
schools
this.
in hotspots? A federal mandate to wear masks? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Thank you, Susan. Well, the American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the
Ali,
facts.
that's true, but just give Kamala the
210,000
knife.
dead people
Since
in
she's
our
a woman, she can get
country
a,
the last several months.
some sort of
Over
a help.
7 million people who have
And then just let
contracted
them
this
fight,
disease.
honestly.
1 in 5 businesses.
Also, Pence is the
closed.
god of thunder, so
We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million people who in the last several months had to file for unemployment. And here's the thing.
this is so choreographed.
On January 28th, the vice
looks
president
goofy.
and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence.
Ah, they're taking notes.
that
Very
it is
important.
airborne,
Before you yell at each other.
that it will affect young people,
Carl
and that
Urban.
it would be contracted because it is airborne.
JB, all I know Carl Urban as is...
And they knew what
Judge
was
Dredd.
happening, and they didn't tell you.
Oh,
Can you
also,
imagine if you knew on January
the bad guy
28th,
from the Riddick
as opposed
movies.
to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his
Well,
ledger
that's the first lie,
if you
but
don't.
then again, I wasn't paying attention.
And
He never called it a
in spite
hoax.
of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does.
Gonna
And
have
our
to speed
plan
up the
is
drinking
about
process
what
for
we
this.
need to do around a national
I am
strategy
stone sober. That was
for
my first
contact
shot.
tracing, for testing, for administration of
That's
the
definitely not how to
vaccine,
watch
and
this.
making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to
Terror
the
alert,
election
we'll see.
based on this.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, more than 210,000 Americans have died of COVID-19 since February.
Come on, someone interrupt
the U.S.
someone.
death toll as a
Kamala,
percentage
go.
of our population
Yell.
is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on earth.
Kamala.
For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country? And you have 2 minutes to respond without...
Gee, I wonder if protests have something to do with it.
And I want to thank the Commission and the University of Utah for hosting this event. And Senator Harris, it's a privilege to be on the stage.
Fucking America.
with you.
Thousands of people in the streets wondering, why are we getting infected? Our infection rates are so high. Maybe I should twerk on that cop over there and take off my mask and yell at him. That'll reduce infections.
Before there were more than 5 cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China. President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from
It
China.
must fucking
Second
break
largest
this man
economy
to
in the
work for
world.
someone like Trump.
Now,
Look how dignified this man is trying to be.
Opposed that decision.
Just juxtapose
Said
this
it was
man's
xenophobic
demeanor to
and
Trump's.
hysterical. But I can tell you, having led the White House
It is
Coronavirus
hysterical.
Task Force, that decision alone by President Trump bought us invaluable time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II. And I believe it's
Well, Dab, you're not wrong. Trump is more entertaining.
Because with that time, we were able to reinvent testing. More than 150
I'm just saying,
million
it
tests
just-
have been done to date.
Imagine
We were
doing an
able to see
important
the
work.
delivery of
You walk into your
billions
boss's
of
office and he is a
supplies
literal
to the
clown
doctors
with clown
and nurses had the
shoes.
resources, support they needed. And we
He leans
began
forward to you
really
with
before
his
the month of February was out,
flower
the
lapel
vaccine
and the water
developed
sprayed in your
medicines and
face, and then he
therapeutics
hits you with a
saving
pie,
lives all along the
and he
way.
laughs.
And under President
He has a
Trump's
little
leadership, Operation
honks in
Warp
your
Speed,
face.
We believe we'll have literally tens of millions of doses of a vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful lot like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way. I mean, quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing,
Honks nose and
creating
coughs in your
PPE,
face.
developing
Yeah.
a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. And I think the American people know that this
Oh,
is the
there it
president
is.
who has put
Shit,
the
I have to
health of America
smile.
first, and the American people, I believe with my heart,
Engage
proud
shit
of the
muscles.
sacrifices they have made. It's saved
Thank you,
countless
Vice
American
President
lives.
Smiling isn't painful. I'm smiling. I'm laughing at you.
Absolutely. Whatever the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country, American lives that have been lost, families that are grieving that loss.
Rap
And you
battle.
know,
That would also be more fun.
The vice president is the head of the task force and knew.
Stop
on
calling it a
January
task
28th
force. That
how
sounds way
serious
too
this
cool
was.
for
And
what
then,
it
thanks
is.
to Bob Woodward, we learned that they knew about it. And then when that was exposed, the vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
SG, well, not yet.
So but Susan, this is important.
Susan,
I want to
have
add,
to
but
weigh
if
in
That
Mr.
may have
Vice
been the
President,
last
I'm
one with
speaking.
Biden, but he didn't get caught.
Yeah, you can
So
have
I
15 more
wanna-
seconds, and then we'll give the Vice President
Thank
a
you.
chance to
So I
respond.
want to ask the American people, how calm were you when you were panicked about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when
What?
they could go back? How calm
Thank
were
you.
you
Thank
when
you,
your
Senator
children
Harris.
Shut
didn't
up.
see your parents because
Someone
you were afraid
interrupt.
they could kill them?
Let's give Vice President Pence a chance to respond. Vice President Pence, you have 1 minute to respond.
God damn, I forgot about the
Taking
whole
on by
toilet
Biden
paper
thought
thing.
of every American family that's lost a loved one. And I want all of you to
Is that real?
know
Honestly,
we
K-Duck is right. Like that's what you're appealing to is people's. They're trying to scare them with withholding toilet paper again. Is that your threat?
Hasn't worked. That's a great disservice to the sacrifices the American people have made.
I'm referring to
The
you,
reality,
President.
if I may
Ah,
finish,
first interruption.
the reality
I'll
is
take a shot
Dr.
to that.
Fauci said, everything that he told the president in the Oval Office, the president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has boundless confidence
There
in the
we
American
go.
people, and he always spoke with confidence that we'd get through this together. But when you say it hasn't worked, When Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and our medical experts came to us in the second week of March, they said if the president didn't take the unprecedented step of shutting down roughly half of the American economy, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans. Now, that's the reality.
Thank you.
They also
Thank you,
said
Vice
to us if
President
we did
Pence.
everything right, Susan, we could still lose more than 200,000 Americans.
Vice
Now,
President
one
Pence,
life lost is
Thank
too
you.
many, Susan. But
Is
the
it?
American people, I believe, deserve
Yeah,
credit for the
disagree.
sacrifices that they have made, putting the health of
One
their
life.
family
I
and
hate these
neighbors
little
first, our doctors,
platitudinous
our nurses,
sentences
our
politicians
Thank you,
throw
Vice
out as
President Pence.
even
I'm gonna
one
speak up
life
on
is
behalf
too
of what the
much.
American people have done.
Vice President
If
Pence,
we
you're in
shut
the
down
front
society
row
and destroy
in
the
Rose Garden
economy and
event
destroy
11 days
people's
ago,
lives
what
and
seems to have
ruin
been a
people's
super
childhoods
spreader
and
event for senior
get their-
administration and congressional officials.
it's worth it if it
No
saves
social
even just
distancing,
one life.
few
No,
masks,
it isn't.
and now a
You
cluster
don't
of
even believe
coronavirus
that.
cases among those who were there.
It doesn't mean anything.
How can you expect Americans to follow the administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves from COVID when you at the White House have not been doing so?
Well, the American people have demonstrated over the last 8 months that when given the facts, they're willing to put the health of their families and their neighbors and people they don't even know first. And President Trump and I have
They
great
do.
confidence in the American people and their ability to take that information and put it into practice. In the height of the epidemic, when we were losing a heartbreaking number of 2,500 Americans a day, we surged resources to New Jersey and New York and New Orleans and Detroit. We told the American people what needed to be done, and the American people made the sacrifices. When the outbreak in the Sun Belt happened this summer, again, Americans stepped forward. The
Sunbelt.
reality is the work of the President of the United States goes on. A vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States has come upon us, and the President introduced
Oh, there
Judge
she is
Amy
again.
Coney Barrett.
Damn it.
Thank you, Vice
But at
President Pence.
that, if I may say, that Rose Garden event, there's been a great deal of speculation about
She's
it.
like, damn it, this is
My wife
depleting
Karen
all
and
of
I
my
were there
chakra,
on
having
it.
to smile this much.
Many of the people who were
I figured I'd only have to smile twice during the whole debate. I'm already 3
It was an
smiles in.
outdoor event, which all of our scientists regularly and routinely
She
advise.
isn't gonna be able to use that
The
fucking
difference
jutsu
here
more.
is President Trump and I trust the American people to make choices in the best interest of their health. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris
Hey, lumberjack.
consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government
Elmer's glue.
takeover of health
Thank
care,
you. Thank
the
you, Vice
Green New
President Pence.
Deal, all government control. We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Let's talk about respecting the American people. You respect the American people when you tell them the truth.
Well,
You respect the
Jiggle
American people
Pence
when you
looks like the
have courage
average
to be a
male to catch a
leader,
predator
speaking of those
decoy.
things that you may not want people
Pence is the
to
kind of
hear,
guy
but
they
you need
hire
hear
to
so they
pretend to be a
protect
12-year-old,
themselves.
waving the
But
pedophiles
this
in.
administration
Oh yeah,
stood
come
on
in.
information
Yes,
that
I'm
if you
12.
had as a parent,
Mommy and
if you
Daddy
had
aren't
as a
home right
worker
now.
knowing you didn't have enough money saved up.
You
now
want
you're
some
standing
beer,
in a
dude?
food line
I have gamer
because
fuel too.
of the ineptitude of an administration that was unwilling to speak the truth to the American people. So let's talk about caring about the American people. The American people have had to sacrifice far too much because of the incompetence of this administration. It is asking too much of the people.
Susan, we talked
No,
about
Vice
It is
President
asking too much of the people. That they would not be equipped
They're
with
one-on-one
the
by
information
interruptions.
they
We-
need
maybe we
to
should
help
just count the
themselves to
interruptions,
protect
shouldn't
their
we?
parents
President-
and
No,
their
I'm
children.
sorry.
2 to 1.
Kamala Harris.
The man is winning.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It's
I
fine,
mean,
I'm Kamala.
No, you're Senator Harris to me. For life to get back to normal, Dr. Anthony Fauci and other experts say that
The
most
man
of
is in the
people who
lead,
can't be
mansplaining like a
vaccinated
professional,
need to be
2 to 1.
vaccinated.
Kamala's
But
got to
half of
up her
Americans now
interruption
say They
game.
wouldn't take a vaccine if it was released now. If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
Jiggle.
the
I still wish I could
public
pin
health
comments in the
professionals,
chat.
Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us I should take it,
I can't even like highlight messages. Twitch chat is
Vice President
kind of
Pence, there
behind.
have been a lot of repercussions from this pandemic. In
Well,
recent days,
SGT
the
fake
president's
is all they
diagnosis of
got.
COVID-19 has
I don't want to
underscored
die
the
here.
importance of the job that you hold and that you are seeking. That's our second topic tonight. It's the role of the Vice President.
I like how these guys
One
have
of you
the
will
chat
make
disabled.
history on January
That's smart.
20th. You will be the Vice President to the oldest president the United States has ever had. Donald Trump will be 74 years old on Inauguration Day. Joe Biden will be 78 years old. That already has raised concerns among some voters, concerns that have been sharpened by President Trump's hospitalization in recent days.
Oh, he walked
Vice
away from that
President
like a
Pence,
champ
have you had a
and turned it into a
conversation
PR
or reached an
opportunity.
agreement with President Trump about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes.
Presidential
without
disability.
Well, Susan, thank you, although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on
well,
to the
thank
issue
you,
of...
but I would like to go
Apo,
back.
who would Kanye's vice
Because
presidents
The
be?
reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time.
Thanks, Power
in
Power. Good luck with the
unheard of
homework.
time, in less than a year.
I'll see you next
We
time.
have 5 companies in phase 3 clinical trials, and we're right now producing tens of
Who would
millions of
Kanye's
doses.
vice presidents be?
So the fact that you continue to undermine
Probably
public
another
confidence in the
vacuous rapper
vaccine,
like himself.
if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration,
Fuck me,
I
he might
think
just pick
it's
Justin Bieber.
unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop
Elon
playing
Musk.
politics with people's lives. The reality is that we will have a vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the
Trump.
capacity to save countless American lives.
Yeah, honestly, he might do that just to piss
Continuous
people off.
undermining of confidence in a vaccine is just, it's just unacceptable. And let me also say, you know, the reality is when you talk about failure in this administration,
I mean, this is a fair point that Pence is making right now. These motherfuckers really are going down the
2009.
anti-vax movements,
the swine
step by
flu
step.
arrived in
The
the United
Democrats are.
States. Thankfully,
Biden
it
and I
was
think the mayor of New
ended up
York have both
not
said that they
being as
would not
lethal
trust the
as the
vaccine
coronavirus.
from the government
before
if it
the
came
end of
out
the
right
year,
now.
When Joe Biden was vice
Like, what the
president
fuck?
of the United States,
What are you, a
not
fucking
7.5
Facebook
million
user?
people contracted the swine flu. 60 million Americans contracted the swine flu. If the swine flu
Mommy
had been
Mega
as
Thick,
lethal
what
as
you've
the
missed is
coronavirus in
Kamala
2009,
interrupted once,
when
Pence
Joe Biden was
interrupted
vice
twice, so
president,
he's in the
we
lead.
lost 2 million American lives. His own chief of staff, Ron Klain, would say last year that it was pure luck that they did, quote, everything possible wrong. And we learned from that. They left the strategic national stockpile empty. They left an empty and hollow plan, but we
Thank you,
still
Vice
learned
President.
from it.
Lumberjack, if your friend
Vice
moved to
President,
Turkey, you should tell him to get the fuck out of
Vice
Turkey.
President Pence, I'm
Why
sorry.
did your friend
We have
move?
done,
For what?
and Senator, please
Thank you, Vice
stop
President
undermining
Pence.
confidence in a vaccine.
Senator Harris, let me ask you the same question that I asked
Sure.
Vice President Pence, which is, have you had a
Well,
conversation
thank you, Fort Moore.
or reached an agreement with Vice President Biden about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, and if you win the election next month, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So
Sarah,
let
leave
tell
me
you,
alone.
First of all, the day I got the call from Joe Biden, it was actually a Zoom call asking me to serve with him on this.
What's
ticket.
bad in
It was
Turkey?
probably one of
Nothing.
the most
Cyanide?
memorable days of my life. I thought about my mother, who
Yeah, of course he did.
came to the United States at the age of 19.
This bitch would smother her
gave
mother
birth to me at the age
for
of
an extra
25.
vote. Are you kidding me?
Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California.
Does she even have a mother?
the
She
thought
looks
that
like a
I'd be
lab
sitting here right
experiment
now,
that someone
I know
devised. Just
would make her proud.
they took Hannibal Lecter and Ted Cruz and female genes and
You
they
know,
just
Joe
made
and I
her.
were raised in a very similar way. We were raised.
he was
with
raised in a
values
lab
that are
too?
About hard work, about the value and the dignity of public service.
See you
and
later, as
about the
always, I'm
importance
drinking
of fighting
vodka.
for the dignity of all people. And I think Joe asked me to serve with him because, you know, I have a career that included being elected the first woman district attorney of San Francisco.
Lucina,
where I
I'm well,
created
thank you.
models of
The cat is
innovation
well
for
too,
law
although she's not
enforcement
here
in
right
terms
now.
of reform of the criminal justice system. I was
Probably
elected,
sleeping in the living room.
the first woman of color and black woman to be elected Attorney General of the state of California, where I ran the second largest department of
RJ
justice
says
in
you
the
are so
United
fucking
States,
stupid, man.
second only to the United States Department of
RJ,
Justice. And there I
you don't
took
even
on
tell me that.
everything from transnational criminal
I know.
organizations to the big banks that were taking advantage of homeowners.
But I assume you didn't
to
really
for-profit
tune in for the
colleges
high
that
IQ
taking
takes,
advantage
you
of
know.
veterans. And then, of course, now I serve in the United States Senate as only the second black woman ever elected to the United States Senate. I serve on the Senate Intelligence Committee, where I've been in
Extreme
regular receipt
cosmetic
of
surgery.
classified information about threats to our nation and hotspots around
So
the
this
world.
half
I've traveled the world. I've met
Debilitated,
with our soldiers
paralyzed,
in our
creepy
war zones.
sociopath smile
And I
isn't
think Joe has asked
natural.
me to serve with him because he knows that we
She did that purposefully?
we share a purpose which is about lifting up the American people. And after the 4 years that we have seen of Donald Trump unifying our country around our common values and principles.
Thank you, Senator Harris. You know, neither President Trump nor Vice President Biden has released a sort of detailed health information that had become the modern norm until the 2016 election. And in recent days, President Trump's
I wasn't
doctors
listening
have
to her.
given
Sorry, I was
misleading answers
looking
or
at the
refused to
chat
answer
only, but
basic
did she just
questions
play the
about
race
health.
card?
And my
Is that what she
question
did?
to each of you in turn is this information
Look it up in another
voters
tab.
deserve
Okay, I'm actually
to know?
curious now.
Vice President Pence, would you like to go first?
Well, Susan, thank you. And
A Kamala Harris
let
surgery
me-
sounds like
let me
something they
say,
do to
on
extract
behalf
your
of the
soul.
President,
Speaking of no
and the First
soul, where's the
Lady,
white of her eyes?
how
Jesus
moved
Christ.
we've all been
What the fuck?
by the outpouring of prayers and
She actually looked human before.
for the president. And I do believe it's emblematic.
Did they
of
actually
the
extract her
prayers
soul?
and the
Is this
concern
guy a
that
pastor or
ushered
something?
forth
Did he
for
perform
everyone
an
impacted
reverse
by
exorcism
the
where he took her
coronavirus.
human soul
But the care the president
and
received
replaced it
at Walter Reed Hospital,
with a
the
dark
White House doctors, was exceptional.
void?
And the transparency that they practiced all along the way will continue. The American people have a right to know about the health and well-being of their president, and will continue to do that. But I'm just extremely grateful and was more than a little moved by the broad and bipartisan
Looks like a deep
support.
fake. A little.
Senator, I want to thank you and Joe Biden for your expressions, genuine concern. And I also want to
Genuine
congratulate
concern. Yes.
you, as I did on that phone call.
I'm sure Pence was
on
very
the
genuine in
historic
that remark
nature of your
too.
nomination.
That was not a diss.
I never expected to be on
Kamala,
this
you're
stage
behind.
4 years
Interrupt the
ago, so
motherfucker
I know the
already.
feeling. But the reality is, we've got an election before the American people in the midst of this challenging year. The stakes have never
Crustacean
been higher.
crushing
I think the
king.
choice has never been
That sounds
I wanna
cool,
give
SGT.
Senator Harris a chance to respond to the same question I asked.
Actually
which is,
went
do
down a
voters
really
have
deep
a
rabbit
right
hole the
to
other
know
day because I
more
couldn't
detailed
sleep,
health
so
information
I just
about
read
presidential
about 2 hours
candidates, and
worth
especially
of
about
Wikipedia
presidents,
articles about
especially
crustaceans.
when they're facing some
That shit is sad, man. Did you guys know that the scientific consensus at the moment is pretty much that they can feel pain? And we boil lobsters alive,
both
you know,
in terms of
for
health
food.
records, but
It's
also
kinda
let's
fucked
look
up.
at taxes.
Made me
We
sad.
now know, because of great investigative journalism, that Donald Trump paid $750 in taxes when I first heard about
again,
it.
this
I
shit.
literally
This shit
said,
again.
You mean $750,000? And
As
it
if you
said,
hel-
"No,
offered this woman a way to only pay
$750."
$750 a
We now
year
know
in
Donald
taxes, she
Trump
wouldn't take it
owes
in a heartbeat. I would.
and is in debt for $400 million. And just so everyone is clear, when we say in debt, it means you owe money to somebody. And it'd be really good to know who the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, owes money to, because the American people have a right
Well, apparently
to know
not the IRS.
what is influencing the President's decisions. And is he making those decisions on the best interest of the American people, of you, or self-interest?
God, stop looking
Susan,
at the
I'm glad you
camera.
asked about transparency, because it has to be across the board. Joe has been incredibly transparent over many, many years. The one thing we all know about Joe, he puts it all out there. He is honest, he is forthright. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, has been about covering up.
Yeah, he's very
everything.
honest.
Thank
No
you,
one
Senator
more
Harris.
honest
I want
than
to give you
Joe.
a chance to respond, Vice President.
Well, look, I respect the fact that Joe Biden spent 47 years in public life. I respect your public service as well.
Thank you.
The American people have a president who's a businessman, who's a job creator, who's paid tens of millions of dollars in taxes,
No.
payroll taxes, property taxes. He's created tens of thousands of American jobs. And the president said those public reports are not accurate. And the president's
Change
also
accents.
released literally stacks of financial disclosures the American people can review just as the law allows. But the distinction here is that Joe Biden, 47 years in public service, compared to President Donald Trump, who brought all of that experience
Gamergaze
4 years ago.
Thank you.
Games, don't
Thank you,
forget
Vice
the
Turned this economy around,
touching
by
his
cutting
leg hair
taxes,
shit,
rolling
too.
back regulation,
Thank you,
unleashing
Vice
American
President
energy,
Pence.
fighting for
What was the
free and
kids
fair
love touching
trade.
my leg hair? Is that what he
All of
said?
that's
Thank you,
on the
Vice
line
President
If
Pence.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
You know, that's a
the
good
White
segue into our third
great
topic,
segue.
which is about the economy. This has been another aspect.
That
of
took Chris and Andrews. I mean,
America's
after the
been so
entire left
affected
just went down this
by this
defund the police,
coronavirus.
abolish
We have a
the
jobs
police,
crisis
kill all
brewing.
cops are
On Friday, we
bastards
learned
shit,
that
they
the
elect
unemployment rate declined
Kamala
to
Harris. It's like saying, you know,
7.9% in September,
like,
but the
abolish
job
the
growth had
police.
stalled, and that was
Also,
before
Judge
the
Dredd
raise
for
from
president.
layoffs and furloughs
Judge
in the
Dredd
airline
2020.
industry, Disney and elsewhere.
RoboCop 2020.
Thousands of discouraged workers have stopped.
And somehow
looking
she's
for
more
work.
robotic than even
Nearly
fucking
11
RoboCop,
million
which
jobs
is
that
quite the
existed
feat.
At the beginning of the year haven't been replaced. Those hardest hit include Latinos, blacks, and
This
women.
bitch is clever.
Senator Harris, the Biden-Harris campaign has proposed new programs to boost the economy, and you would pay for that new spending by raising $4 trillion in taxes on wealthy individuals and corporations. Some economists warn that could
Ali, honestly, he would be a
entrepreneurial
great
ventures
president.
that fuel growth and create jobs. Would
you prefer
taxes
Carl
put the
Urban
recovery
dread or
at risk?
Sylvester
And you have 2
Stallone
minutes to
dread, though?
answer Uninterrupted.
Thank you.
Because I honestly still
On
would
the
go
issue
with
of the
Sylvester,
economy,
I think.
there couldn't be a more fundamental
With Carl
difference
Urban
between
dread
Donald
as his
Trump
vice
and Joe
president.
Biden. Joe Biden believes you measure the health and the strength of America's economy based on the health.
Joe Biden
and
can't
the
even
strength
measure his
of
own
the
health.
American
Are you
worker
kidding me?
And the American family.
How
On
can
the
you
other
use that
hand,
man's
you have
name and the
Donald
word
Trump,
health in the same
who
sentence?
measures the strength of the economy
That's just
based
immoral.
on how rich people are doing.
This bitch
Which
is about to
why
get
he
struck by
passed
lightning.
A tax bill benefiting the top 1% and the biggest corporations of America, leading to a $2 trillion deficit that the American people are going to have to pay for. On day one, Joe Biden
SGT,
will
I can
repeal
neither
that
confirm
tax
nor
bill.
deny.
He'll get rid of it. And what he'll do with the money is invest it in the American people. And through a plan that is about investing in infrastructure,
By
something
Gamer
that
Games.
Donald Trump said he would do. I remember hearing about some infrastructure week. I don't think it ever happened.
And a lot of you
But
guys
Joe
are doing
Biden will do
homework,
that.
huh?
He'll invest in
really
infrastructure.
glad
It's
I'm
about
not in
upgrading
school
our
anymore.
roads and bridges, but also investing in clean energy and renewable energy. Joe is going to invest that money in what we need to do around innovation. There was a time when our country believed in science and
Wayne,
invested
I mean,
in research and
it's amazing that
development
they're bitching about
so that
Trump
we
not paying
were
his
an
taxes and their
innovation
solution is to
leader
raise
on the
taxes.
globe. Joe Biden will use that money to invest in education.
The man is kind of walking proof
So,
that
for
raising
example,
taxes on the rich
folks
doesn't
who
really
wanna go
work
to a
unless you
two-year
fix the
community
loopholes.
college, it will be free.
They're all
If you
just gonna
come
pay
from a family
$250
that makes less than $125,000, you'll go to a public university for free.
And nuke proof.
And across the board, we'll make sure that if you have student loan debt, it's cut by $10,000. That's how Joe Biden thinks about the economy, which is it's about investing in the people of our country as opposed to passing a tax bill, which had the benefit of letting American corporations go offshore to do their business.
Thank you,
You're
Senator
welcome.
Harris. Vice President Pence, your administration has been predicting a rapid and robust recovery, but the latest economic report suggests that's not happening. Should Americans be braced for an economic comeback that is going to take not months, but a year or more? You have 2 minutes to answer, uninterrupted.
When President Trump and I took office, America had gone through the slowest economic recovery since the Great Depression. It's when Joe Biden was vice president, they tried to tax and spend and regulate and bail our way back to a growing economy. President Trump cut taxes
thank you,
across
Caramond.
the board. Despite what Senator Harris says, the average American family of four had $2,000 in savings in taxes. And
Lumberjack,
with the
I
rise
think
in wages that occurred,
Turkey's
most
handling.
predominantly for
I'm pretty sure
blue-collar,
Turkey recently had to
hard-working
admit that they were lying about the
the average
numbers.
household income
as
for
literally
family
every
of four
country on
increased
earth
by
is, so
$4,000 following President
I
Trump's
assume not
tax
good.
cuts. But America,
For
you
a
just
while,
heard
they
Senator
just
Harris
banned
say,
old people from going
on
out.
day
That was their
one,
solution.
Joe Biden's going to raise your taxes. It's really remarkable to think, Susan. I mean, right after
222. She interrupted
time
him.
We're going through a pandemic that lost 22 million jobs at the height. We've already added back
Time for a shot.
11.6 million jobs because we had a president who cut taxes, rolled back regulation, unleashed American energy, fought for free and fair trade,
Finally.
and secured $4 trillion from the Congress of the United States to give direct payments to
Dab,
families.
I'm
Save
in Germany
50
right now.
million jobs through the Paycheck Protection Program. We literally have spared no expense to help the American people.
Keg, thank you. Finally, someone who understands where I'm coming from.
Want to raise taxes. They want to bury our economy under a $2 trillion Green New Deal. which
SJT,
you
I
were
have
one of the
not.
original
My laptop
co-sponsors of
can't
in the United
handle
States
that
Senate.
game.
They want to
I tried,
abolish
though.
fossil fuels and ban fracking, which would cost hundreds of thousands of American jobs all across the heartland. And Joe Biden wants to go back to the economic surrender to China, that when we took office, half of our international trade deficit was with China alone. And Joe Biden wants to repeal all of the
That's
tariffs
good to hear, man,
that
Caramond.
President Trump put into effect to fight for American jobs
Instead of
and
being a
American
twig.
workers.
Okay.
Joe Biden says democracy's on the ballot. Make no mistake about it, Susan.
Nuke proof,
American
yes, I'm taking
economy,
shots
the
for every
American
time they
comeback
interrupt, but
is
I don't
on
think I'm gonna
the
die of
ballot.
alcohol poisoning in
4
this
more
one.
years of growth,
These two are
opportunity,
far more
4
respectful
more years
than
of President
Biden and
Donald
Trump were to each other.
2021
Thank
is
you,
going
Vice
to be the
President
biggest
Pence.
economic year in the history of this country.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Senator Harris.
Well, I mean, I thought we saw enough of it in last week's debate, but I think this is supposed to be a debate based on fact and truth. And the truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000
He said
a
he's going to
year.
repeal the Trump tax cut.
Oh,
Mr. Vice
3 for
President,
2.
Well, wait,
I'm speaking.
be important if you said the truth.
I'm speaking. Okay,
Joe Biden
Skeletor,
said
go on.
twice in the debate last week that
Holy
he's
shit, is that a
repeal
twofer?
Tax cuts.
Is it 4 for?
That was tax cuts that gave the average
4
working
to 2.
family $2,000 in a tax break every single
Okay,
year.
new proof.
Senator,
Maybe I was wrong.
That's
Maybe I will die of
absolutely
alcohol
not
poisoning.
true. That
Is he
tax
only
bill-
cutting? Is he only?
Is he
gonna
interrupting
repeal
him now?
all the
Fuck, I don't know how to
tax
keep scoring
If you
this.
don't mind letting me finish, we can then
Oh,
have a
shit.
conversation. Okay?
cuts? Please.
Okay. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000.
I'll count that as
He's
one
been very
interruption
clear
for
about that.
Pence.
Joe Biden will not end.
If I give him
fracking.
2, he's just
been
gonna
very
win.
Clear about that.
Oh.
Joe Biden
Oh,
is the
what
one
was that
who,
little squeak?
during the Great Recession, was responsible
No,
for
he
the
didn't follow
recovery
through.
act
He didn't have the
that brought
heart.
America
He dropped the
back.
ball
And now
right there.
The Trump-Pence administration wants to take credit when they rode the coattails.
3 to 2. The
of
man
Joe
is in the
Biden's
lead again.
success for the economy that they had.
By
at
the
the
powers
beginning
of
their term.
mansplaining,
Of
this
course,
man
now
has
the economy is
mansplained.
a complete disaster. But Joe Biden, on the one hand, did that. On
Ali,
the other
tell how
hand,
much
have
do you
Donald
weigh?
Trump, who has reigned over a recession that is being compared to the Great Depression. On the one hand, you have Joe Biden, who was responsible with President Barack Obama for the Affordable Care Act, which brought health care to over 20 million Americans and protected people with pre-existing conditions. And what it also did is it saved those families who otherwise were going bankrupt because of hospital bills they could not afford. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who's in court right now, trying to get rid of
Thank you, Senator
trying to
Harris.
get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which means that you will lose protections if you have pre-existing conditions. And this is very important.
100 kilos.
Yes,
That's
and
not
it's-
too
we
bad,
need to
Ali.
give- We need to give Vice President.
I
Pence a
just like
chance
to,
to
he
respond.
interrupted me.
Try going on a
I'd like to-
fast.
Please.
Like 16-8.
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer.
That's
they're
how Brady
coming
lost
for you.
this.
If
I mean,
you
he did
love
OMAD,
someone
but
who has
any
a
fasting in any
pre-existing
capacity will
Thank
really
you, Senator
coming
help
for
you, I think.
If you are under the age of 26,
I wanna
on
go
your
back to
parents'
fasting
coverage,
too, by the
they're
way.
coming for you.
Senator Harris, thank you.
You're
Let me
welcome.
give you a chance to respond.
Well, I hope we have a chance to talk about health care because Obamacare was a disaster. The American people remember.
Bitch, you're behind. Interrupt them.
And President Trump and I have a plan to improve health care and to protect pre-existing conditions for every American. But look, Senator Harris, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. You yourself said on multiple occasions when you were running for president that you would ban fracking. Joe Biden looked at a supporter in the eye and pointed.
Did he just
and
say
said,
that she's
"I
running for
guarantee-
president?
I guarantee
I like that.
that we will abolish fossil fuels. They have a
Oh,
$2
master of
trillion
speed, you're
version of the
wrong.
Green New Deal, Susan, that your newspaper, USA Today, said really wasn't that very different from the original Green New Deal. More taxes, more regulation, banning fracking, abolishing fossil fuel, crushing American energy, and economic surrender to China is a prescription for economic decline. President Trump and I will keep America growing.
Again, how
The
is this
V-shaped
not a bigger
recovery
point?
that's
What the fuck
underway
ever
right
happened to
now
China?
will
How come
continue
none of
for
them
more
ever
years of
mention
President
China
Donald Trump.
anymore?
Thank you very, very much, Vice President Pence.
Like,
Once
I
again,
remember
you
these
did
guys
a
who
perfect
started
segue
all
to
this?
the topic, which
This
is climate
apocalypse?
change.
Should
And
we
Vice
ask for
President Pence,
something?
I'd like to pose the first question to you. This year, we've seen record-setting hurricanes in the South.
Lumberjack,
Another one,
that's not so
Hurricane Delta,
bad.
is now threatening
I don't think you
Nicole.
need bullying.
And we have seen record-setting wildfires in the West. Do you believe, as the scientific community has concluded, that man-made
Deb,
climate
I don't think
change
it's cheating.
has made wildfires bigger, hotter, and more deadly?
You're
and have
you're
made
still not
hurricanes
eating
wetter,
for 16
slower,
hours a day.
and more damaging? You have 2 minutes.
Wait, did these motherfuckers just say that Trump made forest
First, I'm
fires
very proud of
hotter
our
and more
record on
dangerous?
Environment and on conservation.
Okay, I'm gonna
According
rewind,
to
sorry.
all of the very
West. Do you believe, as the scientific community has concluded, that man-made climate change has
Okay.
made wildfires bigger?
A while ago, the president signed the Outdoors Act. It's the largest
For a second there, I thought
investment
they
in our public lands
blamed
and
Trump
parks
personally for bad
in
weather.
100 years. So President Trump has made a commitment to conservation and to the environment. Now, with regard to climate change, the climate is changing. But the issue is,
Oh, thanks for that
what's the
insight.
cause and what do we do about it? President Trump has made it clear that we're going to continue to listen to the science. Now, Joe Biden
Has he?
and Kamala Harris would put us back in the Paris Climate Accord. They'd impose the Green New Deal, which would crush American energy, would increase the energy costs of American families in their homes.
That's good, real
Literally
Canadian.
would crush American jobs. And President Trump and I believe that the progress that we have made in a cleaner environment has been happening precisely because we have a strong free market economy. You know, what's remarkable is the United States has reduced CO2 more
Are you
than
like
the countries that are
anorexic
still
under Roos?
in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation. And we've done it through natural gas and fracking, which, Senator, the American people can go look at the record.
Guys, I
know
can't
Joe
solve all of
Biden
your problems
says
via
otherwise
bully.
now,
That
as you
usually
do.
just works on morbidly
The both of you
obese, lovely,
repeatedly
fat,
committed
sweaty
to
fucks like
abolishing
Brady.
fossil fuel and banning of fracking. And
Not on decent
by
humans like you
creating a
guys.
kind of American innovation, we're actually steering toward a stronger and better environment. With regard to wildfires, President Trump and I believe that forest management has to
I'll
be
say this
front
much, I'm
and
pretty sure
center.
that the
Even
stock market is
Governor Gavin
anticipating
Newsom from
Biden
your
to
state
win
has agreed we've got to work on forest management.
because
With
some of
regard
the
to
renewable
the
energy company
National
stocks that I
Oceanic
have, they've been going up
Administration tells us that
recently.
actually
I think
as-
those
as
guys really
difficult
think
as
that
they are,
Thank you, Vice President.
there are
Trump isn't
no
going to
more
win here.
hurricanes today than
Thank
there
you.
were 100 years ago.
Thank you.
But many of the climate alarmists
President Pence,
use
I'm sorry, your time
hurricanes
is up.
and wildfires to try and
Thank
sell
you,
their
Vice
bill of
President
goods of a
Pence.
Green New Deal. And President Trump and I are going to always put
Thank you,
American
Vice
jobs and
President
American
Pence.
workers first.
Senator Harris, as the Vice President mentioned, you co-sponsored the Green New Deal in Congress. But Vice President Biden said in last week's debate...
I don't want to
he does
bully an
not support
anorexic person under Roos.
But if you look at the Biden-Harris...
It's really up to you if you want to look like a
describes the Green New
malnourished
Deal
skeleton.
as a
If you
crucial
don't want to
frame.
eat delicious foods
What
and
exactly
be healthy, that's
would
on
be the
you.
stance of a Biden-Harris
Skinny
administration
fucking bug.
toward the Green New Deal? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Sure. So first of all, I will repeat, and the American
God damn it,
people
you guys really sound like you need a
that
Dr.
Joe
Love or
Biden
something.
will not ban
Everyone
fracking. That
has
is a
weight
fact.
issues, it seems.
That is a fact. I will repeat. that
Including me, by the
Joe
way, don't get me
Biden
wrong.
has been very clear
I'm not touting to
that
be
he thinks about
pretending to be
growing jobs,
Superman,
which is why he
healthy
will not
here.
increase taxes for anyone who makes
I've gotten flabby.
$400,000 a year. Joe Biden's economic plan, Moody's, which is a reputable Wall Street firm, has said will create 7
Heinz,
million
that's-
more jobs than Donald
maybe.
Trump's. And
Maybe I
part
should
of
make an
those jobs that
OnlyFans
will
where I
be
just
created
bully
by Joe
people.
Biden
Dr.
are
Love
gonna be
handles.
about
Fuck.
clean energy.
Again, I wish I could pin comments.
Because you see, Joe understands that the west coast of our country is burning, including my home state of California. Joe sees what is happening on the Gulf states, which are being battered by storms. Joe has seen and talked with
Battered
the
by
farmers
storms.
in
Yes,
Iowa
if only Trump
whose
stopped
entire
sending
crops have been
storms.
destroyed
That
because of the floods.
motherfucker.
And so Joe
That
believes
evil
that coming from
bastard.
Science. I'll tell you something, Susan. I served when I first got to the Senate.
Susan
on the
Storm
committee
must be a
that's
Trump
responsible
voter
for the environment.
to be
You know,
sending
this
so many
administration
hurricanes in that
took
direction.
the word science off the website and then took the phrase climate change off the website. We have seen a pattern with this administration, which is they don't believe in science. And Joe's plan is about
OSGT,
saying
I
we're going to
wish.
deal with it, but we're also going to create jobs.
Fuck that, I wish I
Donald
could
Trump,
bully
when
steak in
asked
my
about
mouth.
the wildfires in California, and the question was, the science is telling us this.
Hey, you
know what
fat
Donald Trump said?
bovine. Look at you.
Science doesn't know. So let's.
Ah,
talk
yeah,
about
science
who is
doesn't know.
prepared
Believe the
to
science.
lead our
Also,
country
vaccines may
over
work,
the
may
course of
not
the next
work. Maybe
4
you shouldn't
years,
take
and what
vaccines.
is
I mean,
an
it could be dangerous. You know how the
existential
president of
threat
the
to us as
government
human
is. You know, the
beings.
government is
Joe is
conspiring,
about
actually,
saying we're gonna
to raise
invest
stock
in
prices.
renewable
Blah, blah, blah,
energy,
blah,
which is
blah,
gonna
blah.
bring about the
I wouldn't
creation of
trust the
millions of
vaccine.
jobs.
You don't know
We
what's
will
in the
achieve
vaccine.
Net
Yeah, okay, shut the
zero
fuck up.
emissions by 2050, carbon neutral by 2035. Joe has a plan. This has been a lot of talk from the Trump administration, and really it has been to go backward instead of forward. We will also re-enter the climate agreement with
I love how no one ever points out
Senator
that
Harris
science
just
is
said that
fallible, by the
climate
way.
change is an existential threat.
Science being fallible is
Vice
kind of what
President Pence,
makes
do you believe
science
climate
science. It's
change
not supposed to be a
poses an
religion.
existential threat?
Not every scientist, not every doctor
As I said,
out there is
Susan,
always
the
right
climate is
100% of the
changing.
time.
We'll follow
They
the
make claims
science.
and sometimes they're disproven. That's how science
Once
works.
again, Senator
You can't just yell,
Harris,
believe science. Like, Jesus is Lord.
denying the
Believe
fact that we're gonna
science.
raise
Jesus is
taxes
Lord.
on every American. Joe Biden said twice in the debate
Cleanse your titans.
that on
Thetans.
day one he was going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. Those tax cuts delivered $2,000 in tax relief to the average family of 4 across America. And with regard to banning fracking, I just recommend that people look at the record. You yourself said repeatedly that you would ban fracking. You were the first Senate co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. And while Joe Biden denied the Green New Deal, Susan, thank you for pointing out, the Green New Deal is on their campaign website. And as USA Today said, it's essentially the same plan as you co-sponsored with AOC when she submitted it in the Senate. And you just heard the senator say that she's going to resubmit America to the Paris Climate Accord. Look, the American people have always cherished our environment. We'll continue to cherish it. We've made great progress reducing CO2
Uncle Bean is
emissions
that's
through American innovation
slightly
and the development of natural
gay,
gas
but
from fracking.
I'm not one to
We don't
judge.
need
However,
a
Pence might
massive
zap
$2
you if you propose
trillion
that to him.
Green New Deal that would impose all new mandates on American businesses and American families.
Thank you.
Joe Biden wants us to
Gucci dog leash, is that real? That sounds
4 million
awesome.
Thank you, Vice
American
President.
business buildings. It makes no sense. It will cost jobs. President Trump.
It's
Thank you,
DuckDuckGo
President.
America
that
first.
mass
It's
murder
gonna put
discovered in
jobs first,
Texas.
and we're going to take care of our environment and follow the science.
Thank
But
you,
on the issue of jobs,
Senator Harris.
let's talk about that. The vice president earlier referred to, as part of what he thinks is an accomplishment, the
Okay, I need something
president's
more
trade
specific.
war
Do
with
you have a
China.
name?
You
Gucci
lost
dog leash?
that trade war. You lost it. What ended up happening is because of a so-called trade war with China,
Poll.
America
Poll?
lost
Wait, poll for what?
300,000 manufacturing jobs. Farmers have experienced bankruptcy because of it. We are in a manufacturing
Trump versus Biden
recession
poll.
because of it. And when we look at where this administration has been, there are estimates that by the end of the term of this administration, they will have lost more jobs than almost any other presidential administration. And the American people know what I'm talking about. You know. I think about 20-year-olds.
Fucking Trump
we have a
creating
20-year-old,
COVID, making people lose their jobs.
20-something-year-old who are coming out of high school and college right now, and you're wondering, is there going to be a job there for me? We're looking at people who are trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent by the end of the month. Almost half of American renters
God, she's
are
a piece
worried
of
about whether
shit.
they're going to be able to pay rent by the end of the month. This is where the economy is in America right now, and it is because of the catastrophe and the failure of leadership of this administration.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Vice President Pence, let me give
Yeah,
just 15
he started
seconds
the
to respond,
pandemic.
because then I want
Fucking
to-
Trump.
Well,
Not only does he
I'd
create
respond.
storms, he started this virus too. Believe science.
Trade war with China. Joe Biden never fought it. Joe Biden has been a cheerleader for communist China through over the last several decades. And again, Senator Harris, you're entitled to your opinion. You're not entitled to your own facts. When Joe Biden was vice president, we lost
He's gonna smile again.
200,000
Brace
manufacturing
for it.
jobs. And President Obama said they were never coming back. He said we needed a magic wand to bring them back. In our first
Thanks,
3
Piao
years
Master.
after we cut taxes,
Hope you keep
rolled back
watching.
regulation, unleashed American energy, this administration saw 500,000
Thank you, Vice
manufacturing
President
jobs
Pence.
created. And that's exactly the kind of growth we're going to
A poll for what,
to see as we
Goros?
bring our nation through
Thank you, Vice
this
President
pandemic.
Pence.
But a
Mr.
Green New
Thank you,
Deal, your
Vice
massive
President
new
Pence.
mandates, your Paris Climate Accord, it's going to kill jobs this time, just like it killed jobs.
I'd like
Susan,
to-
I just need to respond very briefly.
15
please.
seconds, and
Thank
then
you.
we'll move
Thank you. Joe Biden is responsible for saving America's auto industry, and you voted against it. So let's set the record straight. Thank you.
I'd like to talk about China. We have, as our next topic, we have no more complicated or consequential foreign relationship
There,
than the
revel
one
in
with
it.
China. It is a huge market for
Oh.
American agricultural goods.
Whoops.
It's a potential partner in dealing with climate change in North Korea. And in a video tonight, President Trump again blamed it for the coronavirus, saying China will pay. Vice President Pence, how would you describe our fundamental relationship with China? Competitors, adversaries, enemy?
Enemy.
You have 2 minutes.
Enemy. Everyone is an enemy with China. What the fuck? What is there left to describe? These
Before
motherfuckers
I
just
leave
killed
that,
like
let
so
me
many,
speak to voting
like a million people across the globe.
You know, everybody knows
They have
that
concentration
cost
camps. They
literally
better be a fucking enemy.
thousands of American factories to close. We saw automotive jobs go south of the border. President Trump fought to renegotiate NAFTA. And the United
Jeremiah
States-Mexico-Canada
Burroughs.
agreement is now the law of the land. American people deserve to know Senator Kamala Harris was one of only 10 members of the Senate to vote against the USMCA. It was a huge win for American auto workers. It was a huge win for American farmers, especially dairy in the
Did a
upper Midwest.
slaughterhouse? Oh,
But
Snopes
Senator,
always
you
lies,
said it
but
didn't go far enough on climate change, that you put your radical environmental agenda ahead
Satire?
of American auto workers and ahead of American
bro, did you read a
jobs.
satire
And the American
satire
people deserve to
article
know
on?
that. It's probably why Newsweek magazine said that Kamala Harris was the most liberal member of the United States Senate in 2019, more liberal than Bernie Sanders, more liberal than any of the others in the United States Senate. So now, with regard to China, look, Susan, first and foremost, China is to blame for the coronavirus. And President Trump is not happy about it. He's made that very clear.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you were fucking
China
with
and the
me.
World Health Organization did not play straight with the
Gucci.
American people. They did not let our personnel into China to get information on the coronavirus until the middle of February. Fortunately, President Trump, in dealing with China from the outset of this administration, standing up to China that had been taking advantage of America for decades in the wake of Joe Biden's cheerleading for China, President Trump made that decision before the end of January to suspend all travel from China. And again, the American people deserve to know Joe Biden opposed President Trump's decision to suspend all travel from China. He said it was hysterical. He said it
Thank
was
you, Vice
xenophobic.
President Pence.
But President Trump has
Vice
stood
President Pence,
up
your
to
time is
China.
up.
We're going to continue to stand strong.
What is she shaking her fucking head
We
out
want to
at?
improve the relationship, but we're going to level the playing
That's
field.
true. He
We're
did call
gonna
him
hold
racist
China
and
accountable
xenophobic
for what they did to America with
for
the
closing the
coronavirus.
borders.
Thank you. Senator Harris, let me ask you the same question that I asked the Vice President. How would you describe our fundamental relationship with China? Are we competitors, adversaries, enemies? You'll have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Susan, the Trump administration's perspective and
Cole,
approach
shut the
to
fuck up
China
and
has
answer.
resulted in the loss of American lives
Oh my god, they're
American
gonna swallow Xi
jobs
Jinping's cum, aren't
and
they?
America's standing.
Joe's gonna get on his knees and just
There's
put that
a
Chinese
weird
cock in his
obsession
mouth.
that President Trump has had with getting rid of whatever accomplishment was achieved by President Obama and Vice President Biden.
He's really gonna
For
suck it.
example,
He'll lick the balls
They
too.
created
Once
within
for
the
every
White
Uyghur
House
slave
an
that they're
office
killing.
that basically was responsible for monitoring pandemics. They got away, they got rid of it.
Not true.
There was
Oh, they
a
get rid of it
team
like the Chinese are getting
disease
rid of Muslims?
experts that President Obama and Vice President Biden dispatched to China to monitor what is now predictable and what might happen. They pulled them out. We now are looking at 210,000 Americans who have lost their lives.
Back on
Let's
this.
look at the job situation. We mentioned before the trade deal, the trade war.
Okay,
They wanted
so
to
China
cut
though?
China. It resulted in the loss of over 300 manufacturing jobs and a manufacturing recession. And the American
No,
consumer paid
300
thousands of dollars
jobs?
more for goods because of that failed war that they called it. Then let's talk about standing. Pew, a reputable research firm, has done an analysis that shows that leaders of all of our formerly allied countries have now decided that they hold in greater esteem and respect Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese.
That's not a good thing, you fucking
Communist Party,
retard.
than
That
they
makes
do
them
Donald
look
Trump,
bad. If
the
you look,
President of the
holy
United States,
fuck.
the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. This is where we
Holy
are today
shit.
because of a failure of leadership.
Stop
by this
boofing Xi
administration.
Jinping. Stop licking his asshole. Are you kidding
Senator
me?
Harris, we've seen changes in the role of the United States in terms of global leadership over the past 4 years. And of course, times do change. What's your definition?
Holy fuck.
We've seen strains with China, of course, as the Vice President mentioned. We've seen strains with our traditional allies in NATO and elsewhere. What is
Poland,
your
Coca-Cola
definition
wins.
of the role of American leadership in 2020?
So, you know, Joe is, I love talking with Joe about a lot of these issues. And, you know, Joe.
I'm
I think
human,
he
yeah.
said it quite well. He says, you know, foreign policy, it might sound complicated, but really it's relationships. So just think about it as relationships. And
Yeah, abusive
so we know
ones.
this in our personal and professional relationships. You got to keep your word to your friends. Got to be loyal to your friends. People who've stood with you, got to stand with them. You got to know who your adversaries are and keep them in check. But what we have seen with Donald Trump
So is China a friend
that
to
he
you
has
or an
betrayed
adversary?
our
She still hasn't answered.
and embrace
Besides saying that Trump is
dictators
worse than
around the
China.
world. Let's take, for example, Russia. So, I serve on the Intelligence Committee of the United States Senate. America's intelligence community told us
Like, I know
Russia
that these guys
interfered
need
in
to
the
be
election of the President of the
politically
United States in 2016
correct and they
and
can't
prior
just
in
talk shit
2020.
about foreign leaders,
Christopher
but
Wray, the
you could
director
at least
of
say
the
that
FBI,
China is an
said the same.
adversary.
But
That's
Donald
plenty
Trump, as
politically
commander-in-chief of
correct.
the
You don't have to
United
call them an
States of
enemy, but
America,
at least say
the first to
adversary.
take the word of Vladimir Putin over the word of
Don't
the
fucking
American
praise
intelligence
them.
community. You look at our friends at NATO. He has walked away from agreements. You can look at the Iran nuclear deal, which now has put us in a position where we are less safe because they are building up what might end up being a significant nuclear arsenal.
Yeah,
We
Obama
were in
made that deal, not
guys.
Trump.
We were in the Iran nuclear deal with friends, with allies around the country, and because of Donald Trump's unilateral approach to foreign policy, coupled with his isolation,
Who's bombing Iran?
he
Now
pulled
she's
us
making it
out
sound like
and has
Trump
made
likes
America
Iran.
less
Remember,
safe.
you
So
guys
seriously,
remember when they bombed
it's about
Soleimani?
relationships.
And this bitch was
And
like,
the thing
oh,
that
how
has
dare
always been
you?
part of the
He was a
strength of
noble
our
man.
nation, in addition to our great military, has been that we keep our
Holy
word.
fuck.
But Donald Trump doesn't understand that because he doesn't understand
God damn it, I need
what
more
it means
drinks.
to be honest.
I'm actually getting
Thank you.
mad, which
Thank
is
you,
not
thank you,
appropriate
Senator Harris.
to watching
Vice President,
these.
let me give you a chance to respond.
Well, thank you. Well, President Trump kept his word when we moved the American embassy to Jerusalem, capital of the state of Israel. When Joe Biden was vice president, they promised to do that, and they never did. We've stood strong with our allies, but we've been demanding. NATO is now contributing more to our common defense than ever before, thanks to President Trump's leadership. We've strengthened our alliances across the Asia.
I wish it were just platitudes on
And
the wrist,
we've
just
stood
plain
strong.
out lies.
Against those who would do us harm. You know, when President Trump came into office, ISIS
Soy
had
boy, I think
captured
she
an
probably
area
is still asleep
of the Middle
someplace.
East the size of Pennsylvania.
I'm not gonna bring her in if she's
President
asleep.
Trump unleashed the American military, and our
I don't
armed
like to
forces
interrupt her when
destroyed
she's
the ISIS
asleep.
caliphate and took down their leader al-Baghdadi without one American casualty.
I'll leave your beginner to start
Al-Baghdadi
with
was,
mixers and then go into beer.
responsible, for the death of thousands. But notably, America's hearts today are with the family of Kayla Mueller,
Hey, Rip.
her parents of which are here with us tonight in Salt Lake City. Today, two of the ISIS killers responsible for Kayla Mueller's murder were brought to justice in the United States. Jihadi John was killed on the battlefield along with the other.
Jihadi John. Didn't Jihadi John lose his
Reality is
job?
that when Joe Biden was vice president,
I thought
we had-
Jihadi John was the executioner and then they got
Safe
tired of him and they killed him.
breaks my heart
like
to
ISIS
reflect
killed
on it,
him?
But the military came into the Oval
Or am I
Office,
thinking of someone
presented
else?
a plan. They said they knew where Kayla was. Baghdadi had held her for 18 months.
All I know is that ISIS killed one of their prime executioners because they got tired of him smoking.
When Joe Biden was vice president, they hesitated for a month. And when armed forces finally went in, it was clear she'd been moved 2 days earlier. And her family says with a heart that broke the heart of every American that if President Donald Trump had been president, they believe Kayla would be alive today.
Thank you, Vice
Look, we
President.
destroyed the ISIS caliphate. And you talk about re-entering the Iran nuclear deal. I mean, the last administration transferred $1.8 billion to the leading state sponsor
Thank you, Vice
of
President.
terrorism. President Donald Trump got us out of the deal.
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
And when Qasem Soleimani was traveling to Baghdad
Thank you,
to do
Vice President
harm
Pence.
to Americans, President Donald Trump took
Thank you,
him
Vice
out.
President Pence.
And America is safer.
Yes,
Our
good
allies
point.
are
Make that
safer.
point.
The American people know
Remind the audience that they
President Donald
mourned
Trump
him.
never has
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
That they mourned
I would like to
Soleimani.
give
Don't forget
Senator
that.
Harris a chance to respond, but not at such great length because, of course, there are other topics we want to talk about.
But I would like equal time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
First of all, to the Mueller family, I know about your daughter's case, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Damn it. Maybe I
What
was
happened
wrong
to
about
her
that.
is
Maybe they didn't kill their own Jihadi John.
And it should have never happened. And I know Joe feels the same way. And I know that President Obama feels the same way. But you mentioned Soleimani. Let's start there.
He was a great
So,
man.
After the strike on
Austere
Soleimani,
scholar,
there was
wasn't
a
it?
counter strike on our troops in Iraq.
By the austere scholar.
And They suffered serious brain injuries, and do you know what Donald Trump dismissed them as? Headaches. And this is about a pattern of Donald Trump's, where he has referred to our men who are serving in our military as suckers and losers. Donald Trump, who went to Arlington Cemetery and stood above the graves of our fallen heroes. and
Whom I
said,
care so much
"What's
about.
in it for them?" Because, of course, he only thinks about what's in it for him. Let's take what he said about John McCain, a great American hero.
Man, this is a fucking 5-year poll right here.
Trump says he doesn't deserve to be called a hero because he was a prisoner of war. And this is very
To be honest, that's a good
when you
point.
wanna talk about
That did make
who's
Trump
the
sound like a
current
dick there,
commander-in-chief
what he said about
and
McCain.
what they care about and what they don't care about.
I'll take a shot to that. She
Public
made one good
reporting
point
that
today.
Russia had bounties on the heads of American soldiers. And you know what a bounty is?
Also fake, but you know.
Somebody puts a price on your head and they will pay it.
She
if
still
you are
deserves that one,
killed.
you guys.
And Donald Trump had talked at least 6 times to Vladimir Putin and never brought up the subject. Joe Biden would never do that.
Thank
Joe
you.
Biden would, but Joe Biden.
Joe
would
Biden
hold
called Turkey's
Russia
president,
to
by the way, and
account for
apologized.
any
I don't know for
threats
what, but he did.
to our nation's security or to our troops.
So I agree that Joe Biden would never hurt
sacrificing
any
their
foreign
lives for the sake
terrorists.
of our democracy and our safety.
Thank you,
If that's her
Senator Harris.
point.
This is such an important issue, but we have other important issues as well, and
Susan,
I
I have to
want to make
respond
sure
to
we
that.
have a chance
I really have to
talk about.
respond to that.
I'm-
Look, she has
15 seconds because
Well, I gotta
we're
have
trying
more
to
than
keep.
that. Look.
Well, I'm sorry, Vice President, but you've had more time than she's had so far.
slanders against President
Look at him man spreading. I could have
regarding
more than
men and
that.
women of our armed forces are absurd.
I'm sorry, Vice
My
President
son is
Pence.
a captain in the United
Yes.
States Marine Corps. My son-in-law is deployed in the
This
United
bitch
States
buckles fast. She folded like a
sure all of
wet origami.
with sons and daughters serving in our military.
Oh, we can't do that. Oh, yeah,
President
yes,
Donald
Mr.
Trump not
President,
only
Vice
respects
President.
but reveres all of those who serve in our armed forces, and any suggestion otherwise is ridiculous.
But
Let
thank
me
you,
also
Vice
Holy
President
shit, you
Pence.
guys know that
Vice
scene in
President
porn where the guy
Pence,
pulls out his
Vice
hard
President
cock and
Pence,
slaps it on the girl's
Vice
face as a
President
show of
Pence, I did
force?
not
That's what he just
create
did to the
the
moderator,
rules. I
and
did
she
not
just
create
took
the
it.
rules for tonight.
Like, yes,
Joe
yes, Mr.
Biden-
Vice President,
Your
yes.
campaigns agreed to the rules for tonight's debate with the Commission on Presidential Debates. I'm here to enforce.
Oh, no, she's
which
trying to save on
involves
some
moving
face
from
by
one topic to
scolding
another,
him for it,
giving
but
roughly equal time to both of you,
Go right
which is what I'm trying very hard to do.
Go right ahead.
So I want to go ahead and move to the next topic, which is an important one, as the last topic was, and that is the Supreme Court. On Monday, the Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled to open hearings on Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. Senator Harris,
Internet
you'll be there
Mickey.
as a member of the committee. Her confirmation would cement the court's conservative majority and make it likely open to more abortion restrictions, even to overturn.
How do they always make it look like the moderator is sitting in a
Would
void?
then be up to the states. Vice President Pence, you're the former governor of Indiana. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, what would you want Indiana to do? Would you want your home state to ban all abortions? You have 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
Well, thank you for
She gave him the time for.
There's a little bit of my time to respond to that very important
He
issue.
literally just talked for like a minute,
American
and he's
people
getting a
should know
spotlight again. This bitch
Qasem
is simping for
Soleimani,
Pence.
The Iranian general was responsible for the death of hundreds of American service members. When the opportunity came, we saw him headed to Baghdad to kill more Americans. President Trump didn't hesitate. And
What's this got to do with Roe v.
But you deserve to know that
Wade?
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually criticized
Supreme
the
Court?
decision
Oh, yes,
against
Baghdad, something Baghdad.
Soleimani. It's really inexplicable, but with regard to Joe Biden, it's explainable. Because history records that Joe Biden actually opposed the raid against Osama bin Laden. It's absolutely essential that we have a commander-in-chief who will not hesitate to act to protect American lives and to protect American
And that's what I think about the
citizens. That's
Supreme
what
Court.
President Donald Trump.
Soleimani in
Now, with
Baghdad.
regard to the Supreme Court of the United States,
Oh, here he
let me say
goes.
President Trump and I could not be more enthusiastic about the opportunity to see Judge Amy Coney Barrett become Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now, she's a brilliant woman, and she will bring a lifetime of experience and a sizable American family to the Supreme Court of the United States. And our hope is, in the hearing next week, unlike Justice Kavanaugh
Go
received
roast.
with treatment
Kinda,
for you and
but
others,
Our
we hope
lockdown
she
was
gets a
never
fair
bad.
Hearing. And we particularly hope that we don't see the
I can go have a
attacks
beautiful
on
steak
her
with my girlfriend right
Christian
now.
faith that we saw before.
Indoors.
I mean, the
People are having a
Democrat
good
chairman
time.
of
Beaches
the
are open,
Judiciary
movie
Committee
theaters are
before,
open. We're chill.
when Judge Barrett was being confirmed for the Court of Appeals, expressed concern.
Honestly, the
that
only thing different
dogma
in
of
Germany
her
since the
faith
pandemic
lived
is that,
loudly
people
in
wash
her.
their hands a bit more
Dick
often and
Durbin
we
of
give
Illinois
old
said
folks
that
more
it was a
space.
concern.
That's about it. Just common
Senator, I
courtesy.
know one of our judicial nominees you actually attacked because they were a member of the Catholic Knights of Columbus, just because the Knights of Columbus holds pro-life views and
Thank you.
pro-marriage views.
Thank you, Vice President
So
Pence. Your
my
time
hope
is
is
up.
that when the hearing takes place,
Thank you, Vice President Pence.
that Judge Amy Coney Barrett will be respected,
Thank you,
treated
Vice President
respectfully,
Pence.
You can't
voted
cut off the
confirmed by
Pence.
Supreme Court of the United States.
Senator Harris,
This
you're
man is a
the senator from
professional
and former Attorney General
mansplainer.
of California. So let me ask you a parallel question to the one I posed to the Vice President. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, what would you want California to do? Would you want your home state to enact no restrictions?
Now
on
listen
access
to her go
abortion?
off about fucking
And you have
Baghdad or whatever the
2
fuck.
minutes uninterrupted.
Something that doesn't have to do with the
Susan,
question.
First of all, Joe Biden and I are both people of faith. And it's
Ah,
insulting
bullshit you
to
are.
suggest that we would knock anyone for their faith. And in fact,
Spell
Joe,
Jesus.
if elected, will be
That's
only
what I'd
the
interrupt
second,
with right now if I was Pence.
practicing Catholic as president of the United States. On the issue of this
Spell
nomination,
Bible.
Joe and I are
Spell
very,
God.
as are the majority of the American people. We are 27 days before the decision about who
I
will
swear
be
this bitch
the
looks like she'd
president.
get a sunburn if you showed her a
And,
cross.
before, when this conversation has come up, it's been about election year or election time. We're literally in an election. Over 4 million people have voted.
Literally.
People are in the process of voting right now. And so Joe has been very clear, as the American people are. Let the American
Animus
people
random, don't
fill
hold your
that
breath.
seat in the White House.
Neither
And
of
then
them
we'll
are going to
fill
talk about
that seat on the United
Roe
States Supreme
v.
Court. And
Wade.
to your point, Susan, the issues before us couldn't be more serious. There's the issue of choice, and I will always fight for a woman's right to make a decision about her own body. It should be her decision and not that of Donald Trump and the Vice President, Michael Pence. But let's also look at what else is before the court. It's the Affordable Care Act.
Look at Pence's
literally in
face.
the
He's
midst of a
concentrating.
public health pandemic.
Trying to focus in on
When
where he has to
over
interrupt to mansplain.
210,000 people have died, and 7 million people probably have what will be in the future considered a pre-existing condition because you contracted the virus. Donald Trump is in court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And I said it before, and it bears repeating. This means that there will be no more protections, if they win, for people with pre-existing conditions. This means that over 20 million people will lose your coverage. It means that if you're under the age of 26,
So
you
how about
can't
the
stay on
Supreme
your
Court,
parents'
though?
coverage anymore. And here's the thing. The contrast couldn't be more clear. They're trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Joe Biden is saying, let's expand coverage. Let's give you a choice of a public
Thank you,
option or
Senator.
private coverage. Let's bring down premiums.
Thank you, Senator
Let's
Harris.
lower Medicare eligibility to 60.
Thank you, Senator.
That's true
Harris.
leadership.
You mentioned earlier, Vice President Pence, that the president was committed to maintaining protections for people with pre-existing conditions. But you do have this court
She's like,
case
"Ah,
that you are supporting your administration
Can I get her number?
that would strike down.
Want to go out with some
Affordable Care
time?
Act. The president says, President Trump says that he's going to protect people with pre-existing conditions, but he has not explained how he would do that. And that was one of the toughest nuts to crack when they were passing the Affordable Care Act. So tell us specifically, how would your administration protect Americans with pre-existing conditions to have
Pence is like,
access to affordable insurance
I
if the
got her.
Affordable Care Act is struck down?
Well, thank you, Susan. But let me just say, addressing your very first question, I couldn't be more proud to serve as vice president to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. I'm pro-life. I don't apologize for it. And this is another one of those cases where there's such a dramatic contrast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. Late-term abortion. They want to increase funding to Planned Parenthood.
Oh, I see the pattern here.
For our part,
They're
I
always
would
one
never
question
presume that
late.
Judge Amy Coney Barrett would rule on the Supreme Court of the United States.
So, thank you for that question. Let me answer the last one,
Stands
though.
strong for the right to life. When you speak about the Supreme Court, though, I think the American people really deserve an answer, Senator Harris. Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court?
Yes.
Amy Coney Barrett has confirmed. I mean, there have been 29 vacancies on the Supreme Court during presidential election years, from George Washington to Barack Obama. Presidents have nominated in all 29 cases. But your party is actually openly advocating adding seats to the Supreme Court, which has had 9 seats for 150 years, if you don't get your way. This is a classic case of if you can't win by the rules, you're going to change the rules. Now, you've refused to answer the question. Joe Biden has refused to answer the question. So I think the American people would really like to know if Judge
This guy is such a
Amy Coney Barrett is
motherfucking...
confirmed at the Supreme
Look at him
Court of the United
redirecting
States.
the question.
Are you and Joe Biden, if somehow you win this election... going
Thank you,
to
Susan. Also, shut the
pack
fuck up. I have my
Supreme
own
Court to
question.
get your way?
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more.
No, say
In
yes or no.
1864
Well, I'd like you to answer the
No,
question.
Mr.
Yes,
Vice President, I'm
please,
speaking.
very
I'm
fast.
speaking.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking
In
now.
1864,
Shot.
one of the, I think, political heroes, certainly of the president, I assume of you also, Mr. Vice President, is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election,
Master of speed, no
and
way.
it was 27 days before the election.
Oh,
And
is she?
a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States. And then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land.
So yes or
And
no?
So Joe and I are very clear. The American people are voting right now, and it should be their decision about who will serve on this most important
Yes or no?
body for a lifetime.
Thank you,
And the
Senator
American
Harris.
people, Susan, are voting
Holy
right
shit.
now. They'd like to know if you and Joe Biden are going to pack the Supreme Court if you don't get your way in this nomination.
Let's talk about
You
packing.
once
Come
again
on.
gave a non-answer. Joe Biden gave a non-answer.
Trying to answer you
The American
now.
people deserve a straight answer. And
Yes
if
or
you
no?
haven't figured it out yet, the straight answer is they are going to pack the Supreme Court if they somehow win this election. Men and
Mr.
women,
Vice President,
I got to
I
tell you,
think
people across this country, if you cherish our Supreme Court, if you cherish the separation of powers, you need to reject the Biden-Harris ticket. Come November the 3rd,
Pence packing.
re-elect President Donald Trump, and we'll stand by that separation of powers.
She is not happy. She can't even
Yeah, let's
fake
talk
smile
about
right
packing
now.
the court, then.
Holy
Let's
shit.
Talk about the
Please.
fact. Yeah, I'm about to. So
Yes or no?
the Trump-Pence administration has been, because I sit on the Senate Judiciary
The
Committee,
is
since
not
you mentioned,
yes or no.
and I've witnessed
Wrong
the
word.
appointments for lifetime appointments to the federal courts, district courts, courts of appeal. People who
Also
are
Dole and Dole
purely
Lab. Yeah, no
ideological,
one
people who have
cherishes
been
it.
reviewed
Are you kidding me?
by legal professional organizations and found to have been not competent, are substandard. And do you know that of the 50 people who President Trump appointed to the Court of Appeals for
What's the score
lifetime
again?
appointments,
4
not one
to
is black?
3 in terms
This
of
is what
interruptions.
they've been doing. You
Pence in
wanna
the
talk about
lead.
Packing a court. Let's have that discussion.
All right, thank you, Senator. Let's go on and talk about.
Let's have that
the issue
discussion.
of
So,
racial
I'm not going to
justice.
answer
I just
it,
want the
but
record reflect
let's
she
have
never
that.
answered the question. So I think the American people,
Thank
maybe
you.
the next debate, Joe Biden will answer the question,
Thank you-
but I think
thank
the
you.
American people know the answer.
Thank you, Vice President. In March, Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old emergency room technician in Louisville, was shot and killed after police officers executing a search warrant in a narcotics investigation broke into
Oh,
her
god
apartment.
damn it, this again.
The police said they identified themselves. Taylor's boyfriend said he didn't hear them do that. He used a gun registered
Ollie, I
to him
can't
to
do
fire a
that.
shot, which wounded an
Keg, that
officer.
does look like Brady,
The
doesn't it?
officers then fired more than 20 rounds into the apartment. They say they were acting in self-defense. None of them have been indicted in connection with her death. Senator Harris, in the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes.
I
No.
don't believe so. And I've talked with Breonna's
Shocker.
mother, Tamika Palmer,
Of course you
her
have.
family, and her family deserves justice. She was a beautiful young woman. She had as her life goal to become a nurse, and she wanted to become an EMT to first learn what's going on out on the street, so she could then become a nurse and save lives.
She did that by fucking a
Her life
drug
was
dealer.
taken
Brilliant move.
unjustifiably.
How
and
long is this
tragically and
debate?
violently.
I'm actually bored. Kind of
And
want to go
just-
to
it
catch a
brings
predator.
me to, the 8 minutes and 46 seconds that America witnessed, during which
Oh God.
An American man
Is there like
was
another half hour
tortured
of this?
and killed
Oh,
under
15
the knee
minutes. Oh,
of an
Jesus
armed
Christ, you guys.
uniformed police officer.
Oh.
And people around our country of every race, of every age, of every gender, perfect strangers to each other, marched shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, fighting for us to finally achieve that ideal of equal justice under law. And I was a part of those peaceful protests. And
So
I
peaceful.
believe strongly
Peaceful
that, first of all,
Molotov.
we are never going
Mostly peaceful
condone
Molotov
violence,
cocktails.
but we always must
Mostly
fight
peaceful bricks.
for the
Mostly
values
peaceful
that we
fists.
hold dear, including the fight to achieve our ideals. And that's why Joe Biden and I have said on this subject, look, and I'm a former career prosecutor. I know what I'm talking about. Bad cops are bad for good cops. We need reform of our policing in America and our criminal justice system, which is why Joe and I will immediately ban chokeholds and carotid holds. George Floyd would be
Peaceful
alive today
lootings.
if we did that. We will require a national registry for police officers who break the law. We will, on the issue of criminal justice reform, get rid of private prisons and cash bail, and
Thank
we
you.
will decriminalize marijuana, and
Thank you, Senator Harris.
we will expunge the records of those who have
Thank you,
been
Senator
convicted
Harris.
of marijuana. This is
Thank
a
you,
time
Senator
for
Harris.
leadership.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take a shot for decriminalizing
Senator
marijuana.
Harris, your time
Unarmed
is up.
black people.
Good
in
enough.
America who
You're
Thank
not
you,
gonna get
Senator
anything else out of this sociopath.
Vice President Pence, let me pose the same question to you. In the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes.
Thank you for asking, Suzanne. But no, about Baghdad.
Well, our heart breaks for the loss of any innocent American life. And the family of Breonna Taylor has our sympathies.
Well, we didn't deflect.
But I trust our justice system, a grand jury that refused the evidence. And it really is remarkable that as a former prosecutor, you would assume that an impaneled grand jury looking at all the evidence got it wrong. But you're entitled to your opinion, Senator. I think, look, and with regard to George Floyd, there's no excuse for what happened to George Floyd. And justice will be served. But there's also no excuse for the rioting and looting that followed. I mean, it really is astonishing. Flora Westbrook is with us here tonight in Salt Lake City.
Who?
Just a few weeks ago, I stood at what used to be her salon. Was burned to the ground by rioters and looters. And Flora is still trying to put her life back together. And I must tell you, this presumption that you hear consistently from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that America is systemically racist.
Oh.
That, as Joe Biden said, that he believes that law enforcement has an implicit bias against minorities.
Right, it's a
great
conspiracy
insight
theory, but
to the
believe
men and
science.
women who serve in law enforcement. And I want everyone to know who puts on the uniform of law enforcement every day that President Trump
What the fuck is in his hair?
stand with you.
Have you guys seen
It
that?
is remarkable that when Senator Tim Scott tried
What is
to
it, an
pass a
exhaust?
police reform bill, brought together
Lint?
a group of Republicans and Democrats, Senator Harris,
A tick?
you got up and walked out of the room. And then you filibustered Senator Tim Scott's bill on the Senate floor that would have provided
Oh,
new
my God.
accountability, new resources. Look, we don't have to choose between supporting law enforcement, improving public safety, and supporting our African American
Thank you,
neighbors.
Vice
and
President.
all
The
of
media
our
on the left are
employees.
going to go wild
Under
over
President
this
Trump's
with their
leadership,
conspiracy
Thank you,
we always
theories.
stand with
Oh,
law
it was a hidden
enforcement.
microphone.
Do what
It
we
was a
can.
spy drone.
Thank you. Your
It
time
was a
is up.
QAnon quantum-controlled fly nanobot.
Investments in
Your time
education,
is
and we'll
up.
fight for school choice for all of our members.
Thank you, Vice
I'd
President.
like to respond.
It
Senator
was a
Harris.
white
I
supremacist
will
fly.
not sit here and be lectured by the Vice President on what it means to enforce the laws of our country. I am the only one on this stage who has personally prosecuted everything
Marijuana
from child
owners,
sexual
yes.
assault to homicide. I'm the only one on this stage who
And
has
people who
prosecuted
smoke
the
weed.
big banks for
Congrats.
taking advantage of America's
You're
homeowners.
amazing.
I'm the only one on this stage.
Wow, Pence
who
is stinky.
prosecuted
That is a
for-profit
fly, I
colleges
think.
For taking advantage of our veterans. And the reality of this is that we are
God damn
talking
it.
about an election in 27 days, where last week
It's so obvious
President
too
of the
in
United
his
States took a
milky
debate
white
stage in front of
hair.
70 million Americans and refused to condemn white
How is that
supremacy.
fly so comfy?
And
This man moves so
it wasn't like he didn't have a chance.
little, I
He
guess, that the
didn't do
fly
it,
is just
and then he doubled
comfortable.
down. And then he said, when pressed, stand back, stand by. And
Pence, shake
this
your
is
head.
a part of
Harder.
the pattern of Donald Trump's.
Oh, man.
He called
Oh, there it
Mexicans
goes.
rapists and
Damn it.
criminals. He instituted as his first act a Muslim ban. He, on the issue of
Yeah, you
Charlottesville,
martyred a rapist,
where
Kamala.
people were
Jacob Blake.
peacefully protesting
Jacob Blake, alleged
the need
rapist.
for racial justice, where a young
A martyred
woman was
hero
killed.
in your eyes.
And on the other side, there were neo-Nazis carrying tiki
Anyway,
torches,
talking of actual
shouting
martyrs,
racial
that fly.
epithets, anti-Semitic slurs. And Donald Trump, when asked about it, said there were fine people on both sides. This is who
Another
we have
lie,
as
he's
the
condemned
president
them.
of the United States. And
Can we get the
Americans,
fly back,
deserve
though?
Better. Joe Biden will be a president who brings our country together
Senator Harris.
and recognizes the beauty in our diversity.
Was it Kamala and Biden
and
in
the
a
fact that
phone
we
call
all
with
have
an
so
alleged
much more in common
rapist?
than what separates us.
Vice President
Jacob
Pence, let me
Blake.
give you a minute to respond.
Thank you,
Mourning
Susan.
for him
Appreciate that.
for
very
getting
much.
shot.
You know, I think this is one of the things that makes people dislike the media so much in this country, Susan, is that you selectively edit, just like Senator Harris did, comments that President Trump and I and others on our side of the aisle make. I mean,
I'm
Senator
watching
Harris
The Fly.
conveniently omitted after the president made comments about people on either side of the debate over monuments, he condemned the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, and has done so repeatedly. You're concerned that he doesn't condemn neo-Nazis. President Trump has Jewish grandchildren. His daughter and son-in-law are Jewish. This is a president
Oh, you can't mention that.
who respects and cherishes all of the American people. But you talk about having personally prosecuted.
Holy
I'm
shit,
glad
did
you
someone
brought up
already
that,
make a...
Senator.
Thank you.
That was
That's-
fast.
I really need to make this point. When you were DA in San Francisco,
Jesus.
when you left office, African Americans were 19
And he's a
times
third.
more likely to be prosecuted for minor.
He couldn't even get the
drug
full user
offenses than
handle.
Hispanics.
Shit.
When you were Attorney
Thank you.
General of California,
Thank you,
you
Vice President.
increased the
Fly
the
Mike Pence
disproportionate
3. Holy
incarceration
fuck.
of
Thank you.
blacks in
Oh,
California.
are people so fast?
You did nothing on criminal
does that
justice
happen?
reform in California. You didn't lift a finger to
you.
pass the First Step Act on Capitol Hill. I mean, the reality is your record
Thank
speaks
you,
for
Vice
itself.
President
President
Pence.
Trump and I have fought for criminal justice reform.
Thank you, Vice President
We've fought for
Pence.
educational choice and opportunities for African Americans, all of our
Thank you,
minorities.
sir.
And we'll do it for 4
Thank
more
you.
years.
You know, there is no more important issue.
How do you even find that,
than the
Luke?
Final issue that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is
You're
the
fast
issue
for
of
even
the
finding
election
that.
itself.
He attacked my record. I would like an opportunity to respond.
Let me give you 30 seconds because we're running out of
I
time.
appreciate that. First of all, having served as
Yeah, me
the
too,
Attorney
Ollie.
General of the state of California, the work that I did is a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be
It's a
able
model.
to do under a Joe Biden presidency.
We
Our-
gotta jail people for smoking
our
marijuana.
agenda includes what this administration has failed to do.
We have to
It will
martyr
be about
rapists.
Not only instituting a ban on
Men
chokeholds
who
and
rape
blindfolds,
Thank you.
Not only
Women in front of
I
their
would like to
children.
go through,
They're
These are points
martyrs.
that you made earlier in
They're
the hour,
great
and I
people.
want to talk about the election itself before we have to.
but I want to talk about the
And if they
connection
smoke
between what
marijuana,
Joe
we
and
should
I
jail
do
them too.
and My record, which
Unless they
includes-
rape women.
I was the first
Then they're gonna get a
statewide
phone
officer
call
to
from me
institute a
congratulating
requirement
them
that
on raping
my
women.
agents would wear body cameras and keep them on full time. We were the first to initiate a requirement that there would be a training for law enforcement on implicit bias because, yes, Joe Biden and I recognize that implicit bias does exist, Mr. Vice President, contrary
No,
to
it
what you may
doesn't.
believe. We did the work of instituting reforms that were about investing in reentry. This is the work that we have done and the work we will do going forward. And again, I will not be lectured by the Vice
Who's in the
President
audience sneezing right now?
on our record of what we have done in terms of law enforcement and keeping our communities safe. and
God, I have to
commitment
piss so
reforming the
bad, you
criminal justice
guys.
System of America.
Thank you, Senator Harris. And I'd like to pose the first.
But it's
I'd
5
like
more
you to respond
minutes,
first to the
fuck.
question on our final topic, the election itself. President Trump has several times refused to commit himself to a peaceful transfer of power after.
So has Biden.
If your ticket wins and President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power,
Is there a dog in
what
this
steps
studio?
would you and Vice President
Are you guys
Biden
hearing
take?
people
What would
bark?
happen
Or someone bark?
next?
Something bark?
So I'll tell you, Joe and I are, I think, particularly proud
Bye, soy
of
boy.
the coalition that we've built around our campaign. We probably have one of the broadest coalitions of folks that you've ever seen.
Okay,
in
that is a
presidential
dog.
race. Of course, we have the support
I don't
of
know why there
Democrats,
is a
but
poodle
also
in the audience, but I guess
independents
here we
and
go. There's
Republicans.
flies, there's cockroaches, there's
7
poodles,
members
there's
of,
snakes,
President George W. Bush's cabinet
probably a bunch of
are
birds,
supporting our ticket.
koalas.
We have the support of Colin Powell, Cindy McCain, John
Colin
Kasich,
Powell, wow.
over 500 generals, retired generals, and former national security experts and advisors are supporting our campaign. And I believe they are doing that
Wow.
because they know that
That's
Joe
amazing,
Biden
Kamala.
has a deep, deep-seated commitment to fight for our democracy and to fight for the integrity of our democracy and to bring integrity back to the White House. And so we believe
These guys
in the
haven't
American
accepted the
people.
results of
We
the
believe
last
in our
election,
democracy.
let alone
And
this
here's what
one.
I'd like to say to everybody.
Why is this a topic?
Vote. Please vote. Vote early. Come up with a plan.
God,
to
I'm
vote.
bored
Go
of
to
this. I just want to
iwillvote.com.
watch
You can
To
also
Catch a
go
Predator.
to joebiden.com. We have it within our power in these next 27 days to make the decision about what will be the course of our country for the next 4 years. And it is
SGT, I
within our
wish.
power, and
I
if
wish
we
I had some
use
food
our
right
vote
now
and we
to
use
take my
our
mind off
votes,
this.
we will win. And we will not
I'd
let
kill for some
anyone
steak.
subvert our democracy with what Donald Trump has been doing, as he did on the debate stage last week, when again in front of 70 million people, he openly attempted to suppress the vote. Joe Biden, on the other hand, on that same debate stage, because clearly Donald Trump doesn't think he can run on a record because it's a failed record, Joe Biden on that stage said, hey, just please vote. So I'll repeat what Joe said.
I'll take 5
Please
shots
vote.
for every
Thank you,
truth this woman
Senator. Vice
says.
President Pence, President Trump has several times refused to commit himself to a peaceful transfer of power after the election. If Vice
Or for
President
any
Biden
truth
is
the
declared
moderator
winner and
says, how
President
about
Trump
that?
refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power, what would be your role and responsibility as Vice President? What would you personally do? You have 2 minutes.
Well, Susan, first and foremost, I think we're going to win this election. Because
Pence,
while
shut the
Joe
fuck up.
Biden
Okay, I
and
can't hold it
Kamala
anymore, you
Harris
guys.
walk
Thank you,
along
Fort Moore, but no,
the
I have to
establishment in
piss.
Washington, D.C. and establishment
So this
Joe
one's for
Biden's
you,
been
Fort
part of
Moore.
for
Sorry.
47 years.
God, I
President
hate
Donald Trump has launched a movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life. And I have every confidence that those same Americans that delivered that historic victory in 2016, they see this president's record where we rebuild our military, we revived our economy through tax cuts and rolling back regulation, fighting for fair trade, unleashing American energy. We appointed conservatives to our federal courts at every level. And we stood with the men and women of law enforcement every single day. And I think that movement of Americans has only grown stronger in the last 4 years. But when you talk about accepting the outcome of the election, I must tell you, Senator, your party has spent the last 3.5 years trying to overturn the results of the last election. It's amazing. When Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, the FBI actually spied on President Trump and my campaign. I mean, there were documents released this week that the CIA actually made a referral to the FBI documenting those allegations.
Much better now.
Clinton campaign. And of course, we've all seen the avalanche.
Ollie, stop perving.
What you put the country through for the better part of
So
3
what did I miss?
years
Is Pence still
until
talking?
it was found that there was no obstruction, no collusion, case closed. And then, Senator Harris, you and your colleagues in the Congress tried to impeach the President of the United States over a phone call. And now Hillary Clinton has actually said to Joe Biden that under
Yeah, he
in her
didn't
words,
stop.
under no
Are you not wearing
circumstances
pants?
should he concede the
Keys,
election.
are you
So,
wearing pants
let me
in
just
your own
say, I think
place?
we're going to win this election.
'Cause
President
I'm
Trump
not.
and I are fighting every day in courthouses to prevent Joe Biden and Kamala Harris from changing the rules and creating this universal mail-in voting that will create a massive opportunity for voter fraud. And we have a free and fair election. We know we're going to have confidence in it. And I believe in all my heart that President Donald Trump's going to be reelected for 4 more years.
You know, I've written all the questions that I've asked tonight, but for the final question of the debate, I'd like to read a question that someone else wrote. The Utah Debate Commission asked students in the state to write essays about what they would like to ask you. And I want to close tonight's debate with the question posed by Brecklin Brown. She's an 8th grader at Springville Junior High.
That's so
Springville,
pants,
Utah. And
Keys.
here's what she wrote, quote,
So you're a poser.
when I watch the news, all I see is arguing between Democrats and Republicans. When I watch the news, all I see is citizen fighting against citizen. When I watch the news,
So
all
deep.
I see are 2 candidates from opposing parties trying to tear each other down. If our leaders can't get along, how are the citizens supposed to get along? And then she added,
So deep.
your examples could
I'm
make
glad we're
all the
getting this
difference
question from a
and
fucking
bring us
8-year-old.
together," end quote. So to each of you in turn, I'd like you to take 1 minute and respond to Brecklin. Vice President Pence, you have 1 minute.
Brecklin,
This
it's
really
my
isn't
pleasure.
a post on I'm 14 and this is deep.
Let me just commend you for taking an interest in public life.
No, don't
I
commend her.
started following the news when I was very young. And in America,
Yeah, and look where you are now.
we believe in a free and open exchange of debate. And we celebrate that. And it's how we've created
Pence is
literally the
OnlyFans.
freest and most prosperous nation in the history of the world. And I would tell you that don't assume that what you're seeing on your local news networks is synonymous with the American people. You know, I look at the relationship between...
Yes, I'm sure the
Justice
12-year-old
Ginsburg
knows what the word
and
synonymous
late Justice
means.
who we just lost from the Supreme Court, and the late Justice Antonin Scalia. They were
I'm sure
on
she knows who
polar
those 2 names are
opposites
too.
on the Supreme Court of the United States.
Great
One
answer
very
to this
liberal,
child.
one very conservative.
Way
But
to
what's been
address
learned since her passing
the younger
is that two of them
generation.
and their families were the very closest of friends. I mean, here in America, we can disagree. We can debate vigorously, as Senator Harris and I have on this stage tonight. But when the debate is over, we come together as Americans.
No, you don't.
That's what
Why are
people
you
do in
lying
big
to this
cities and small
child?
towns all across this country. So I just want to encourage you, Brecklin. I want to tell you that we're going to work every day to have government as good as our people.
Pence wouldn't touch her
American
for
people
10 million
stand up
bucks,
every day.
and she'd smother his
Good debate.
children
We love a good argument.
for a single vote.
Always
Why is he
come
lying?
together and are always there
See,
for
this-
one another
Thank you,
in
Vice
times of
President.
need, and we've
That poor
especially
kid.
learned that
That poor
Thank you,
fucking
Mr.
kid.
difficulties of this year.
Joe would touch her for
Senator
free.
Harris,
Gucci,
what
you're
would you
right.
say to Brecklin?
First of all, I love hearing from our young leaders. And when I hear her words, and I
leaders.
hear
She's
your
10.
words, Brecklin,
10, 11, 12,
I know
whatever.
Our future is bright because it is that perspective on who we are and who we should be that is a sign of leadership and is something we should all aspire to be. And that, that brings me to Joe. Joe Biden. One of the reasons that Joe decided to run
That brings me to Joe.
is after
Speaking of
Charles,
12-year-olds,
we talked about earlier. It so troubled him and upset him, like it did all of us, that there was that kind of
how do you smell, Brooklyn?
division.
You sound very
What
young.
propelled Joe to run
Grade
for
8,
president
you said?
was to see that over the course of the last
Maybe
4
we should
years,
fly
what
you out
Brecklin
to
described has been
Mr.
happening.
Biden's offices one
Joe
of these
has a
days.
long-standing
Put on some perfume
reputation
for us,
for
why
going
don't
across
you?
the aisle.
Training bra
Working in a bipartisan way.
with your braces.
And that's what he's going to do.
I think he might really, really like you. Have you
Joe
been in
Biden
Cuties?
has
It's his
a
favorite
history
movie.
of lifting people up and fighting for their dignity. I mean, you have to know Joe's story to know that Joe has known pain, he has known suffering, and he has known love.
And he's known children.
And so,
And love
Brecklin, when
with
you
children.
Think about the future, I do believe the future is bright. And it will be because of your leadership, and it will be because we fight for each person's voice through their vote, and we get engaged in this election because you have the ability through your work and through eventually your vote
Thank you,
to
Senator
determine
Harris.
the future of our country and what its leadership looks like.
And did
Thank
you know Uncle Joe
Senator
has a
Harris.
Discord
Thank you, Vice
server? You
President
should
Pence.
join.
Thank you so much for being
You're so
with
mature
us
for
tonight.
your age.
We want to thank also the University of Utah.
Do your
for its
parents know about Joe?
hospitality. And most of all, our thanks to all the Americans who watched this debate.
Okay, is this done?
Again,
Thanks.
our best wishes for a quick recovery.
Dude, everyone watching this deserves more than a
to the First
thanks.
Lady and everyone.
We
who
all
has
deserve
COVID.
like $1,000.
The second presidential debate is next week on October 15th, a town hall style debate.
Oh, of course it is.
We hope you'll join us then. Good evening.
Oh, fuck me, of course I'll join. My life is just pain. Pain is what I live for. Pain and agony. Suffering. Okay. So, would you guys be down for some actual fun now? Dab, it's actually 4:30, but I really want to see something fun before I end the stream. I just want to see something funny. Not this. Not this. Yes, okay. I think we all unanimously agree then. Where are they now?
In this house, trying to meet a 13-year-old boy. So you thought it was okay to come here to see a 14-year-old girl. Could you explain yourself?
5 different states, 5 undercover investigations.
Did you bring condoms with you? Is this appropriate behavior for a New York City firefighter?
No, sir, it is not.
What are you doing?
A long parade of potential predators.
Oh, no. He brought his son with him.
I don't want to be on the news, dog.
Well, it's a little late for that, dog.
But what happened after these men faced our hidden cameras?
SGT, you can be the official source of fun facts.
Tonight, the latest. Learn what the law has in store.
King Cactus, damn it, I don't want to read
To
Joe
catch
Biden
a predator.
tweets. I'll do this one for you.
After 2 years and nearly 100 arrests, where are they now? Good evening and welcome to
Okay, that's
Headlines.
kind of
I'm
funny, I
Phillips.
guess.
And I'm Ann Curry. From the heartland to the halls of Congress, our series of
Okay, but for real.
investigations into computer sex predators has raised concerns about the exploitation of children on the internet.
Tonight, Chris Hansen tells us what's happened to these men since our investigations began. And again, a reminder, some of what you will see and hear is explicit.
And disturbing.
Parking out front. He's out of the vehicle. 7:30's here.
They
I want to know where they are now.
Hey, come on in!
blue collar,
Hi.
white collar.
You can try one of my cookies. There's
Some with long rap sheets, others without even a traffic ticket.
the back door's unlocked.
They all had one thing in common. Each
Yeah,
carried
they
on
wanna
a
fuck
sexually
kids.
explicit chat
That's enough to
online with
have in
someone who
common.
claimed to be a young teen, and each would be caught by Dateline.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story about adults meeting teens on the internet.
In Virginia, a rabbi.
You've got to stop this.
In California, a high school teacher.
Why did you come here, though? Help me to understand.
Because I'm a sick son of a bitch.
When we began our investigation nearly 2 years ago, we had no idea how many men would be brazen enough to actually enter someone else's home where a minor was supposedly alone.
Let me know if this is a bit too loud for you guys.
That's him right there. He's pulling in the driveway.
Or too low, I
We
suppose.
certainly never
Oh, I've missed this show.
anything like
As
this.
Hellraiser says, or Pinhead, I guess,
14-year-old girl,
down the dark
chasing
hours
a
of
cat
pain,
around. You've got Cool Whip.
the show
Not
is like a
once,
memory of heaven.
Twice.
Why don't you go ahead and cover up?
Certainly. I'm sorry.
Certainly,
Dateline touched
I'm
a
sorry.
major nerve, exposing an epidemic of sexual predators in our country. When we first started our investigation, we were told by the National Center for Missing and
Keg,
Exploited
yes,
Children,
so I am
1 in 5
extra
children
miserable.
online
What is low for you
have been
guys? So
approached by adults looking for sex.
there
We
you
knew
go.
there had been abductions and even murders committed by online predators, so we understood how serious this issue could be.
Okie doke.
But the question was how to go about reporting on this crime and exposing the men who might be inclined to commit it.
He was
We're
on?
trying to make
I
contact
don't
and
remember
get an
that at
update.
all.
Right.
Enter a group called Perverted Justice, a kind of online watchdog organization whose mission is to do what it believes law enforcement
Kind of.
doesn't always have the
Also, we've been
resources
paying
to
them
do.
for like
They have
20
a
seasons
full-time
by now.
job of going after internet predators, and they do it by posing as kids online.
His left hand is in his pocket.
At any given moment, one of Perverted Justice's 50 volunteers, some who say they were victims themselves of sexual abuse, troll internet chat rooms, usually through AOL and Yahoo, waiting to be approached by a predator.
Have you guys been watching Who's Rights with the Alaskan Avengers' sister?
I mean, you know, half the times we have to close down some of the windows. There's so many guys hitting on us that'll crash our machines.
While Perverted
It'll
Justice
crash our
has no
machines.
authority
Holy
to
shit.
arrest the
Dude, you need
potential
an
predators
RTX
it
or something,
identifies,
an AMD
in the
card.
last year, it has consistently worked with law enforcement in the criminal prosecution of those men. The
Isn't
watchdog
AMD's
group
press
does it
conference
by
today?
providing transcripts of their online chats that can be used as evidence in court. But we wanted to take what Perverted Justice does one step further, to see if these predators would actually leave the world of
Terrellier,
cyberspace
yes,
and
the
show up
Alaskan
at a house where
Avengers'
they were told
sister.
a child was alone.
gave an interview on Who's Rights.
For our first investigation,
And we might
rented
actually
this
get
house
on
in Long
the
Island,
Alaskan
New York,
Avenger
a
himself.
middle-class neighborhood. We rigged the home with hidden cameras inside and out.
From a prison phone, obviously,
Next,
because he's still
perverted
serving
justice
20
decoys
years,
all
but,
around
you know,
the country
still.
began operating in chat rooms, identifying themselves as a child alone in this house, a child open to the idea of sex, even with an adult.
Now, how explicit do you have to be to lure these guys?
Yeah, oh, you guys sound excited, so am I.
From this, we go into these chat rooms. I haven't said a word to anybody. I'm sitting in a room, and the IM starts popping
Klowski,
up.
we've not decided yet, but probably on Who's Right, I'm gonna be there. We might get to interview the Alaskan Avenger himself.
Showed up at our undercover house.
Just sit down at the counter for a minute and I'll be down in a second.
What's going on? Nothing much. Yeah.
Some talked probably because they thought I was with law enforcement, although I never pretended to be a cop.
Well, you want to tell me why you really came over?
I really wanted to just take him to the movies.
But none had
That's so
any
crunchy,
idea
yes, I
our
would.
hidden cameras were going to expose them before a national audience.
Now, the only problem is that the Alaskan Avenger obviously can't really brag about his adventures and his avenging because
Hansen with Dateline NBC.
it doesn't play well with the
doing a
parole
story.
board if you brag about your crimes. So he has
But in
to,
that
you know,
first investigation,
act as if
none
he's
was more
remorseful
shocking
and
than
he
one
regrets
man who
everything
never
he's
made it in the
done.
door, although he came awfully close. He's a man in a position of trust. 24-year-old Ryan Hogan, screen name Ryan 4686, a New York City firefighter.
Want to call me? He wants to talk.
After spending hours engaged in a sexually explicit chat, sometimes from the firehouse, he makes a plan to come over to have sex with our 14-year-old. Coincidentally, when he drives by, he sees a police car parked near the house and has a possible burst of conscience.
He went back to saying there was immoral and illegal and everything else.
Still, he goes home, gets comfortable again, turns on his webcam, exposes himself, and masturbates, all while wearing his New York City firefighter sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's obscene. It's obscene.
And then, unbelievably, he says he's going to come by the house again. He never makes it, so we go looking for him.
Hey, Ryan. Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
I like Chris
Is this
Hansen's trench
appropriate
coat
behavior
here.
for a New York City firefighter?
No, sir, it is not.
For any adult to have
any-
this kind of
for
a
any-
conversation
for
with
any
somebody who
adult?
says
No.
they're a 14-year-old girl home
No,
alone?
sir, it is not.
Then what are you doing, Ryan?
I made a mistake at the time. I made the judgment call to correct that mistake.
Is there anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, I think people got to use their heads. People should know better. I made a mistake.
Yeah,
Either
you
way,
used the head,
what he
didn't you?
did was a crime. And after our story aired, Ryan Hogan was terminated from the New York City Fire Department. Last year, he pleaded guilty to using the internet to transmit obscene material to a person under 16. He faces up to 16 months in prison and
An
must
Alaskan
register
Avenger on
as
the
a sex
Peapod.
offender. He's scheduled to be sentenced next month. New York was our first investigation, and in 2.5 days, 18 men walked down this driveway to meet someone who said they were a 12, 13, or 14-year-old home alone. The question was, how many more men were out there, and where?
When we return, remember this man?
You sent pornographic pictures.
The rabbi with an alibi. Where is he now?
You've got to stop this.
To Catch a Predator continues in a moment.
Mr. Avenger, can you record yourself present?
Would it happen again? Would men show up in a different house, in a different state, to meet a child home alone?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, hold on a second. I gotta change my shirt, okay?
Okay.
You bet they would.
Did you bring condoms?
It doesn't seem to be
And they'd also meet Dateline.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how about yourself?
Good. Why don't you have a seat right over here?
No, thank you.
Our second investigation took us to the suburbs
Why don't
of
you have a seat?
Washington,
No, thank
D.C.
you.
Our house was rigged with 9 hidden cameras, 3 with views outside, 1 pointed in the garage, and 5 inside the house.
I don't know, because I'm all blushing.
As the investigation progressed, volunteers from Perverted Justice, the group dedicated to catching internet predators, were busy as ever, chatting online with men like this. VA male 69 2005, who's 28, is talking to our decoy, Erin, who says she's a 14-year-old. He
Is this
asks
okay?
her bra size, if she shaves anything other than her legs, and says there's just something about a teen body.
We'll see if he sends a picture or anything.
Here in Virginia, as in many other states, it's generally a crime to send children sexually explicit material, even if it turns out the recipient is an adult posing as a child. Add using the internet to entice a child into having sex, and Lieutenant Jake Jacoby of the Fairfax County Police Department says the laws are even tougher.
So merely by using
Is this any better for you guys?
set up a sexual liaison with somebody who's underage, that's a felony. Yes, it is.
It was during this second investigation
better.
that we
Okay.
truly began to see just how vast the problem of
I don't know how
online
that happened.
sexual
Sorry.
predators was. The men coming into our house, apparently for sex with a minor, were from all walks of life. Like Joe Wunderler, a military intelligence
SGT, I have no
sergeant
idea
interested in
if it's
bestiality.
random or
Why are you so nervous?
if you get to
I
pick.
just get nervous.
So you thought it was okay to come
SGT,
here
you should
to
gift
see a
100
14-year-old
subs
girl?
just to find out.
And you say, would you ever try anal? Ouch, that sounds like it could hurt. Not if done right. You have to be very gentle with that. Quite a Romeo.
I'm a lonely guy.
Do it for the crustaceans,
Now,
SGT,
Wunderler is
or you're a
doing his
fake.
talking in court. He pleaded guilty to attempting to entice a minor to have sex. Federal guidelines call for a minimum sentence of 5 years in prison. He's due to be sentenced in July. Until then, he remains on limited active duty. The Army has initiated a separate action to have him removed from service. Over 3 days, they came one after the other. So many, we had to keep a detailed calendar.
You know, we used to have a bingo for this, but I don't know if we ever finished it.
10 so far.
Dab, that's the horny level guy from the show. You must have missed that episode.
This man letting himself
And how dare
into
you,
our
missing
house
that
makes his
episode.
living working with children. Stephen Benoff is a special education teacher looking to meet a 13-year-old boy.
What are you doing here? I thought I would come see him, but... Come see
No,
him for
ping
work.
SGT to get your free
While online, our 13-year-old decoy asked the teacher to bring
free
condoms.
sub.
Did he?
What does that say about your intent? Well, I was
Oh, Dab. Dab, you've never seen this show? Jesus.
home to see a 13-year-old.
Honestly, this episode isn't very interesting, I
After
feel
our
like.
broadcast, Benoff, after 31 years
I
of
thought
teaching,
we'd see
retired.
way more
Anything else you'd like to
information about where these guys are
If you
today,
think
but
a
not
teacher
this.
trolling for a date with a minor is a breach of
Let's see,
trust.
minute
How
11.
about
I want to see what this is about. Hang on. The Raw.
will be something you see.
I guess we can check this out. Thank you, Lucina. I have 2 lights, 2 colored lights, and a bunch of junk in the room. That's how I do my art.
going after children over the internet? And you send pornographic
SGT says it costs $300 to gift 50 subs. Well, SGT, you're either gonna do it for the crustaceans or I guess you're a landlubber.
the uncut versions of their story.
Do you do this sort of thing all the time?
Does Germany have a sex offender registry? I don't think so, Terrellier.
And we'll show you some moments that shocked and surprised even us.
Could you explain yourself?
IKEA boxes? I'm not sure which one you mean,
Predator Raw.
Ollie. If you mean the white stuff here, that's...
We rent a
Fold.
house. Our people wire it with hidden cameras and
Those aren't boxes.
volunteers from the online watchdog group Perverted Justice act as decoys, go into chat rooms with a profile that includes a picture that's unmistakably underage, and they sit and wait. And the next thing you know, the guy is knocking on our door, trying to have a sexual liaison with a 12, 13, or 14-year-old boy or girl. What's great about going
Thank you,
back to
Lucina.
the tapes is we can look at things that give us a better
Crustaceans and
idea
cats.
of how these guys' minds work. Why does a
That's what I should call my Discord server.
on his lunch hour walk into a house where he thinks a 13-year-old boy is
Crabs
over
and
wrong?
cats.
How do you get there? Initially, we looked at it.
Lobsters
okay,
and
we'll find
lions.
some of this from this guy, some of this from that guy.
Keg,
We
no.
have an hour.
It's not very
This
big.
is an opportunity to dig a little deeper, to look a little closer, and to understand who these.
That's how it's done.
Fairfax County, Virginia.
Thank you,
was
Underoos.
significant. It was our second investigation. We had a better house, arguably a better location. I was more comfortable. You know, you're always a little bit anxious, but you know, at least my heart wasn't in my throat the whole time. I could breathe. Just hours into the investigation, the first visitor came bounding in like he owned the place. I mean, this guy sent photos of himself performing
Ben
oral sex on another man to somebody he
actually asked Josh if he would be
so many of the other
down to
men
come on
who
soon,
ultimately
so
visited us in Fairfax County.
I'll try to set that up this month, if not next month, depending on our schedule. But I really want to have Josh back on too. He's one of my favorite guests to this point. And that is an ugly kitchen.
Hey, hold on a second, I gotta change my shirt. Yeah.
Okay.
Only 48 more to go.
I gotta ask, you still gonna be up for tonight after seeing your
Terrellier. You can find it in the Twitch description.
The level of comfort we see by watching these guys before I have my interaction says to me they're either very comfortable taking part in this activity, or they've done it before, or they've spent so much time chatting.
Okay, I feel like this isn't very behind the scenes or extended. I thought this would be
Now, earlier in the
the unseen tapes. I thought that the unseen tapes would be the pedophiles getting interviewed, but
after that, and just as he finishes that ha ha ha, he turns around and I walk into the room, and you see this physical.
would you guys want to watch What Would You Do?
And he knows that his life is about to change.
Let me know if you guys want to switch over to that show. I guess I can make a poll. New poll.
I suggest you sit down and take your hands on your
What?
pockets, please.
Damn it. Do you wanna...
What are you doing? Why don't you tell me what your plan was?
I don't want to be.
Catch a predator?
Not good.
Would...
That's kind of an understatement, isn't it?
I hate this keyboard so much.
Can I know who you are, please?
I hate it. I despise it so much. Alright, there's your poll.
Now, I don't want to lie to him, but I don't want to let him know
I don't want to lie to him.
just yet.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you FBI?
But I also
Wow.
want to go over some of this chat log with you.
I may be law enforcement. I may not be.
It appears from this that you were setting up a meeting with a 13-year-old boy. Okay, you're only 13. 13.
Ollie, my keyboard sounds are not soothing whatsoever to me. They aggravate me.
They usually look like their moms.
Extremely.
So you pretty much thought you were coming here to meet a 13-year-old boy named Conrad.
Holy shit, everyone wants to keep watching To Catch a Predator. I was kind of wanting to watch What Would You Do, but it's,
I like sucking.
the customer is always right. I'll defer to you guys.
And now I'm getting ready to ask him what he does for a living. I already know, but I want to hear from
SJT.
him. What do you do for a living?
A rabbi.
A rabbi. Now, presumably, you counsel...
Point of
families
view,
with
you
children
meet Chris Hansen.
as a rabbi.
POV.
Children.
This guy's
What are you
pissed.
doing as a man of God, as a rabbi, in this house, trying to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Oh, this is the guy who attacks the cameras. Like, no, don't film.
I don't want to do anything that's going to further make you angry.
Oh, I'm not angry.
You're coming across in a very angry and negative sense. I've asked you for
Dude, Chris is not angry. He's making buttloads of money, my man. Don't worry. Chris is not angry.
What's happened is that I'm sitting in a house.
And you sent pornographic pictures.
Hey, Insult Web, thank you for the
That's a federal
subscription.
offense right there.
You know I'm in trouble, and I know I'm
When you try your best, no, it's not. Subscription only. Anyone can join my retarded Discord, don't worry.
This is not something that I've done.
You've never done this before. You know, because I hear that a lot. You see a reaction on his face. And that pretty much seals the deal. He wants to know right then and there who I am. And so I tell him.
I don't understand why I can't have some of those pictures.
I'm more than happy to tell you who I am. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. And we're doing
God,
a
I
show.
am jealous.
Oh, no. Come on.
Ah, yep, there he goes. Oh no, come on, don't film me.
You don't want it. It was really one of the only times.
Man, that man is having a heart attack. He has a cell phone in his belt buckle.
I don't think I was in much danger. But you can see how the security system works. Our guy stepped in, took care of it, and diffused the situation.
Keg, could you message me privately on Discord? We can look into it. It's not something I can troubleshoot right now, though. Sorry. But it's usually not a difficult thing to solve, don't worry.
For months. And he was downright mean. He blamed
Insult
us
web.
for his-
Doug didn't get me into any flavor of vaping. It was my girlfriend, actually.
He initially said
And this
yes,
is a
only
close
if
poll.
he didn't show the video from the house, didn't show his face, or identify what he did for a living. And obviously, those were conditions we could not meet. In this investigation, unlike the more recent ones, we did not have police doing a parallel investigation. These guys walked away. We did, however, interview the Fairfax County.
Kaya the Crustacean Crusher.
Perverted justice.
I prefer Kaya the Crustacean Crusher and Pedophile Island Conqueror. Kaya the Conqueror and Crustacean Crusher. Maybe.
This can be the point in the interview where things get heated.
Kaya the Jesus. Kaya the Crustacean. Holy shit, this is a tongue twister. Kaya the Crustacean Crusher and Pedophile.
What are you doing? One of the things about the headline investigations is that, we're
Crusher? Questioner?
and you don't always get to see how these guys, in some cases, really spin a yarn. I mean, a detailed story to try to get themselves out of trouble.
Castrator! Thank you, Bent.
Aladdin Shamir, who was
Kaya the
clever.
Kaya the Crustacean Crusher and Pedophile Castrator. I like that. It's not an alliteration at all, but good enough.
How's it going?
Oh. Holy shit, To Catch a Predator wins by 2 votes.
Good, thank you. What you doing here?
Just
Holy shit.
hanging around.
Just hanging around?
Yeah, I know that the house is for sale.
Oh, that this house is for sale?
Yes, yes.
And what made you thought that this house is for sale?
I heard about it. A friend of mine.
A friend of yours?
Yes.
A friend of mine. A friend of mine said there is a lot of young girls here.
He has
You do not look like young girl.
703? Well, why don't I just call
7 out of 3. That's how hot I think the girl was.
exactly what's his
The child was a 7, you see. A hottie. We call that a hottie where I come from. You are lucky to get a 7 out of 10 where I come from.
Aladdin.
Sir,
If it is a wrong number, it will
my name is Aladdin.
3283.
Hopefully,
Okay, well, that first one is Cynthia, it's not Hisham.
Okay.
So let's try the other one.
Cynthia, what the fuck?
83.
I really think I've got this guy figured out. At this point, he's going to start telling the truth. But
Could
as
caress
you'll
or
see,
kill her.
this isn't over yet.
Terrailer? I kinda dig
It's
it.
Hisham, but he's not picking up his phone.
Can you make rolls on Twitch?
So I just want
Because
to
I
tell
like
the
that.
story.
Crustacean Crusher and Caresser Killer.
Hisham, your friend,
Yes.
said, hey, I know about this house that's for sale.
Yes.
And you said, oh, friend, I will go look at it for you. Out of friendship.
Yes.
And what
Oh, out of friendship.
What did you say?
Oh, I was just here looking...
Yeah.
And how many bedroom? 4?
Again,
4 bedrooms.
regular viewers of my stream know. We call this now the cuties defense. I was just here looking out for the child. I just wanted to make sure that no other pedophiles
I think now is the
predate
time for you to tell
on the child, that she's not in danger. That's all. That's all why I'm here. Sure,
Sarah.
Yes.
Sometimes
I may have brought rope and condoms and lube and
So all that other
a
stuff.
wrench to hit the child over the head with, but I'm just looking out for
You
them.
know how old Sarah is?
I wanted to, hit the kid over the head with a fucking fire extinguisher, but that's just to teach her the lesson that she should be careful of fire extinguishers.
She tells you that she's...
I wanted to show her the movie Cuties and tell her that she should never dance like this. Oh my god.
Fire is when you sing around the campfire at the summer camp. You know she's a child.
She told me 18, sir.
Protector of the sea. SJT, no, you're way off. I hate the fucking
Have a
sea.
nice ass baby, you ask.
Also, is it okay if I call you Stu?
And you say, I'll tease it
with.
Sergeant Stu.
This can be the point in the interview where, things get heated.
Keg, the Kara update is that
I had no idea about what was going to come next.
she is presumably still sleeping in the living room.
For a little bit, you say, "Great, good girl."
Shh.
What are you doing? You okay?
I am fine, just.
I am fine. Just, I want to nap. I want to nap. Are you telling me there no child here? I want to sleep.
And wondering whether
Depression nap.
Or maybe if he's really sick, do I just end the interview and say, why don't you go on?
No, he's not really sick, Chris. Don't worry. Just keep the interview going.
We continue.
Chris, you know what's up.
Does that
Come
mean
on.
it's right for a 45-year-old man?
No, sir.
And for a little while it goes okay, but, sometimes we can't control these events.
Creeper Crumbler. I like that too. This guy.
Would you like to leave?
No, sir.
Chris's stance. That deserves a screenshot. Look at this man. Look at this. Oh, I love this. Oh, are you really doing this? Really?
I'm kind of.
You have to love Chris Hansen. Oh, also a screenshot. Seriously? Arms akimbo.
I lied about myself, I lied. And I'm not that kind of person, sir.
All right, if you're not feeling well, perhaps you should just go.
No, sir, I'm okay.
No, sir. I am okay.
Bad about
No,
myself.
sir. I am still
before
good
you
to
leave,
molest the children,
one
sir.
thing that I need to tell you.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC.
What does that mean, sir? No children? No
If
children?
there's anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear it. And if not,
What do you mean TV show? No children?
Anything against me at the moment?
for charges?
Yes.
No.
As a what?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
don't lose anything against me at the moment.
Anything against me as a woman?
No. Not that I'm aware
I
of.
do apologize, and I promise to be a good man for the future. And
I promise to be a good man for the future. I am not a woman.
Hello? Yes, I called by mistake. I had the wrong number. I apologize.
What the fuck? He's taking personal calls in the middle of this?
It was just a very unusual set of circumstances. I mean, this could be one big act. Or the guy could really need medical.
Chris!
You know, and when
You
you
motherfucker.
when you watch the raw tape, no matter how many times you see it, you still really don't know whether you consider it drama or reality. I mean, you just can't.
It's drama and reality.
He asks you to get pantyhose. There's talk about beer. There's talk about condoms. You never get used to seeing a teacher.
Yeah, I figure.
What age did Brandon tell you he was?
23, I believe.
You want to try again?
No.
Yeah, ball patter, you missed the debate.
I have the transcript.
Lucky motherfucker.
Brandon said he was 13.
13?
13.
13? What? No.
Sadly,
No. I'm here to meet a 30-year-old. That's what he said.
and
Oh,
unlike some of the other
I wonder if any of these pedophiles have ever used the dyslexia excuse, you know? 13? I read that as 31.
over here because I was curious
I transpose numbers all the time, sir.
that it was with somebody who was of legal age, not somebody.
What am I for a profession? Oh, I'm a math teacher. But no, I confuse numbers all the time.
dig themselves into a hole because they spin their whole story not knowing I've read the transcript. So when he says, oh no, I thought he was 23, and I've got the transcript right in black and white where it says otherwise.
Cat facts. Keg, did you know that cats are the most adorable creatures on Earth? proven by the World Health Organization. Also, looking at cute animals actually has been shown to be good for your mental health. I think that's an actual study they did.
This guy is roaming around this house, comfortable in a discussion.
Ollie, I bet you think I'm
really
joking,
about
but
sex.
let's see.
Did you bring the other stuff? Wink, nod, yeah. Turns out the other stuff, condoms.
How are you? Hi, how are you? Good. Would you have a seat over here, please? Sure.
What's going on?
I don't know. I'm here to see Brandon. What's up?
Go ahead, sit down. Yeah.
Science says watching cute animals is good for your health.
What are you
Wait,
doing here?
this is Vice.
Well, you invited me over to see him.
Who invited you over?
BBC, slightly more
20s.
believable.
20s.
Yeah.
Aww.
20s.
Mm-hmm. Who are you?
Kind of a long article, though.
What age did Brandon tell you he was?
Let's read that in a bit.
23, I believe.
You want to try again?
You can do that,
You said he was
Googmont.
23. What's the problem?
I have the transcript. That's what the problem is.
13?
13.
13?
No, we didn't.
No.
You are crazy for the math?
Yeah.
13?
Meaning
No.
the baseball team.
No.
If you don't see how graphic some of these chats are, then there's a tendency to maybe give these guys the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was his first time. Maybe he was.
Sorry, Keg, I wasn't about to read.
Read the transcript. Stop.
Vice, don't worry.
You know what the intent was. You know what these guys would be doing had there been a teenager home alone and not Dateline NBC. What are you looking for?
Aw.
A daddy boyfriend. Cool, I'm 48
Big
though. Is
bro
that
Joe,
cool
take
for
good
you?
care of
You
them.
look like a cute
Give them
guy.
some
Maybe
food.
An even cuter girl.
And a
Like
warm
it.
place.
He says, if you love me, I will. You say it doesn't hurt. And then you go on to talk about oral sex, anal sex.
Why is it always anal with these guys?
What are you doing here?
Why do these fuckers, these pedophiles, always go to anal straight away with these 10-year-olds? Like, a 10-year-old is a virgin anyway. What? How is that not enough? How is that not taboo and titillating enough? You always have to.
Hard to believe.
They run straight to anal.
You teach school.
Yeah.
What classes do you teach?
Special education.
So you're a special education teacher.
But he really said he was 23.
I'm looking at the transcript, so it's best not to lie, okay? Just tell me the truth.
The
You knew he was 13.
No.
He asks you to get.
See, this guy teaches disabled kids, and he's taking advantage of kids, or at least he's trying to.
Did you bring
This is the kind of guy who should be burned to death in front of his mother.
on the table?
What the fuck?
What does that say about your intent?
Well, I always have them with me, but I understand what you're saying.
Intent is critical in proving online solicitation of a minor. So if the decoy says, bring this or bring that, whether it's beer or condoms, and the potential predator brings the items, it shows intent.
Yeah, bring beer or condoms or a webcam, PlayStation, weed, cookies.
That's evidence. I mean, who shows up at a home where a 13-year-old boy is alone with condoms? Who does
Iron
that?
Bull,
And why
I
do they
agree.
Can you tell me who you are?
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. And if there's anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear it.
Fuck you and your neon green shirt.
You never get used
Marker
to
ass
seeing a
looking
teacher
fucker.
surface in one of these investigations, but the very first time, I mean, I was just shaking my head. It's like, how could somebody involved in educating kids, in this case, special education kids, you know, even his screening, Crazy for the Nats, meaning the Nationals, the baseball team, would indicate that he's just a regular guy.
Fun fact, Sergeant Stewie, you owe everyone 100 gift
Going
subs.
to baseball games. But here he is inside this house after a graphic chat, attempting to meet a teenage boy home alone for sex. I mean, it was mind-boggling to me. It wouldn't be the first time, but I didn't know it when I saw it.
Motherfucker. Special ed teacher.
You talk about sex acts
God damn it.
for dogs.
Yeah, I gotta pee again. Can you guys please not stare at my undies?
It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to help you guys.
Let me see if I can get away without you guys perving.
That I know aren't right, and I'm trying to cut all that. I really am. I have a psychiatrist I'm seeing now.
Joe Wunderler was a guy
can't look
who
unless
clearly
you
had a problem.
OnlyFans
And this guy actually wanted to involve a dog in the sex act with the young girl. And he was very graphic about how he wanted this whole process to go. And you even see him when he comes in, you know, sort of reference to himself, where's the dog? You see him mouth those words. He's anxious, he's nervous. He's got kind of a tick going on when we talk to him because of all this stress that he's under. But I think a part of him was relieved that he was finally going to get some help.
I got a skirt I'm gonna put on. So just wait at the counter for a second. Thanks.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Why don't you have a seat right around the stool?
I'm just.
Go ahead, just have a seat. What's happening?
How much?
What are you here for?
Just come and talk to him.
Come to talk to who?
That's it. What's that?
You seem a little nervous.
Yeah, I am. I just get nervous. I was just coming to talk to someone, that's all.
Sorry, perverts. No upskirt for you.
Aaron.
Yes.
And why were you going to talk to Aaron?
Just talk, that's all. Nothing more.
How old is Aaron?
She didn't tell me.
You did not spot them, Mickey.
Try again.
I saw 14, but she...
No, you did not, Ollie. You did. No one saw my undies. Lies. Lies. Hydraulic lies. Everyone lying.
12-year-old girl.
Holy shit, this guy's shaking so hard. Did you guys see that? Look at his
She
hands.
says, how about you date 12-year-old girl?
Oh, he is nervous.
If I really like her and her parents don't...
And there's Chris, cool as a cucumber. Cool as he was just chiseled out of marble right there.
In the early investigations, you know, we didn't have it down to a system like we do now. We'd still
You
get
guys are
caught,
lying. You guys are lying to me.
with either the wrong transcript or perhaps an incomplete transcript of the man's chat with
Up
the
the volume
I was
5%.
looking for
Okay.
the passage
There you
where
go.
he was specific.
Gucci.
And Dell from Perverted Justice slides in and hands it to me, so I was able to
Okay.
actually confront him.
My bad. So you thought it was okay
I'll tell you this much, Mickey.
here
They're very
to see
comfy.
a 14-year-old girl why?
Not that you saw my undies or anything.
No, I didn't.
This guy is very uncomfortable and shifty.
Talk about hair in personal places. Then you say, and there was just something. Watch your hand. I want to see your hand. Exactly.
The man's hands are shaking, Chris. You don't have to fuck with him.
Then you say, so are you a thong kind of girl? My mom won't let me have them. That's, I expect you would look awesome in it.
I know what was in there, and I was talking. I mean, we were talking. That was it. I wasn't planning on doing nothing. I was just talking. It was just
There's
conversation.
a lot of talk here. Would you ever try anal? Ouch.
Go roast, you know it's very rude to check out my ass without at least subscribing. I'm not that kind of girl, you know.
I'm a lonely guy. What can I say?
I'm what?
This gets pretty freaky.
I'm
Quite a Romeo.
I'm a lonely guy. What can I say?
I'm a guy, what can I say? Is that your excuse? Lots of... Everyone! What?
I have had a problem with an internet addiction talking with the females. I've never done anything.
But everyone, you know, in chat, if you're a guy, I can say it's very fair to say that. It's very easy to be a man and not molest children.
A psychiatrist right now.
I don't think this guy's talking for us.
I just started talking to him.
Wunderler tries to tell me that while he recognizes he's got an addiction, perhaps a compulsion, it's limited to chat. He would never actually do these things in person.
Oh, never.
But he's so specific in
No.
the chat. he is very graphic in the details of what he wants this girl to do with the dog and then what he's going to do to the girl. And if it was all just talk,
Deb, are you
what was he
fasting?
doing?
It's quite impressive. 3 days without molesting a child, but according to this guy, all men do it. I'm just a guy. What can I do?
One of the reasons why I'm trying to get help because I've gotten into fetishes that I know aren't right, and I'm trying to cut all that. I really am. I have a psychiatrist.
Oh, this motherfucker needs a fidget
It was
spinner.
just talk, that's all.
There's a lot of talk here.
That is a lot of talk.
How can you talk this way to a 14-year-old girl?
That's why I'm getting help. I have a problem.
I guess you're going to tell me next that this is the very first time you've done something like this.
Actually, it is.
This guy's facial.
Next that this is the very first
Look at his
time you've
face.
done something like this.
Actually, it is. I'm serious.
How do you expect me to believe that?
Is he on coke?
I know you do. I know you do. And I mean,
Or just
I know what
extremely
you guys are
nervous?
doing, and I understand, and I see where you guys are coming from.
Sounds like what you're saying is, okay, 14-year-old girl, it's okay to have sex with me. In fact, I've done it before.
I was just talking. That was it.
How old are you?
28.
28.
This guy
Do you
is
think it's appropriate to
nervous.
visit a 14-year-old girl home alone? Why? Even if you were just visiting to talk.
Tom, I didn't think about it. I honestly didn't.
How do you think a 14-year-old girl's parent would feel about that?
Infuriated. I know I would if I was.
I'd be scared of this guy. He's way too fidgety
I was just
and
talking.
agitated.
Gonna do nothing.
Yeah, I know, but what's in here is sex act after sex act after sex act. Talk of sex with multiple people. Talk of stuff that's way out there, quite frankly.
Dude, if you're gonna molest children, don't drink like 20 cups of coffee beforehand.
I know, but there's a difference between doing it online and showing up at a house.
He's sniffling like a motherfucker too. This guy is on coke.
And I think it's great what you guys are doing.
No, I'd never do it again.
I will do anything to help you guys out with stuff like this.
This was only our second investigation, so when Joe Wunderler says,
Wait.
I like what you guys are doing.
I mean, I will do anything. I will do anything to help you guys out with stuff like this.
This was
Oh,
only our
how
second
noble.
investigation, so when Joe Wunderler
So
says,
noble.
I like what you guys are doing, I believe in it, I want to help, I'm thinking he believes we're the police. So my impression
I want to help catch people like
he
me.
was offering to cooperate in another police investigation. He would help us in any way he could to catch other predators if we'd cut him some slack, or perhaps even let him off the hook.
Hang on, by the way, I like how in the background on these screens they froze on the thinking man pose, or as I like to call it, the ruined pedophile. I'll take that as a screenshot real
If
quick.
we'd cut him some slack, or perhaps even let him off the hook.
I was wrong for doing what I did. I know that. I will do anything to help you guys out.
But what should happen to you?
Honestly, I'd like to be able to be given the chance to help you
Is that a cow on his shirt? Are you guys seeing this?
guys out any way I can.
What can
Moo.
you do to help us out?
Anything that you suggest.
Where's it a dog?
Well,
Anything you guys suggest? Well, I'd suggest you go to prison.
I'm Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC. We're doing a story on computer records. I'm free to leave right now. If there's anything else you want to say, we're happy to hear it. But if you care to leave, you're welcome to leave.
I'd like to leave.
This is a case where what he wanted to do to this girl was above and beyond a lot of the other things we see, the other chats, the other things that these men say online. Was he sincere? Difficult to tell. You know, I hear this, I'm going to get help, I need help, over and over again. It's probably true. But this was one of the more graphic and bizarre chats we had seen up until that point, and really ranks right up there, even now.
Could you explain yourself?
Speaking of undies, this guy needs some. Well, that's what you get if you don't buy from MeUndies. You got caught on fucking camera being a pedophile. Look at you, stupid piece of shit.
Conversation with a 14-year-old boy. I'm going to go to his house.
strip naked, and walk in with a 12-pack of beer. This was just something you thunk up today.
No, sir. I'm going to talk to him about it online.
John Kennelly is a guy who, in an online chat with someone he thought was a young teenage boy, said that he was a teacher at a prestigious high school in Virginia. The chat is graphic. At one point, the decoy said something about, you know, what would be really hot. Underwear in the garage.
They have him stripping too.
I don't wear underwear. Decoy says something to the effect of, well, you know, come in how you are. And we really didn't think he was going to do it. This is our.
How do you even see a gold chain in all those pixels? PP music.
Walk into a stranger's house naked. Well.
I like how they have theme music for this guy. Oh, he does have a gold chain. Imagine being the poor intern who had to blur this guy's filthy ass. Why is he so nervous? Like, let me pause here. He has not seen Chris Hansen yet. He's not seen anything negative yet. As far as this man knows, as far as he knows, he's waiting for a child. And yet he's looking as nervous as if he was in a job interview. Look at his face. Like, oh God, I hope I nailed this. Oh God, I really need the money. I hope they pick me. Oh God, what if I disappoint this 10-year-old? Oh God.
Could you explain yourself?
I'm sorry.
Rewind. I like how they had a towel ready on the top of that fridge. Chris reaching for it.
Could you explain yourself?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Certainly. I'm sorry.
What's going on here?
Your son IM'd me, and he told me to come on over.
He IM'd you?
Yes, sir.
Your son? Did he say your son?
IM'd me. Your son IM'd me. and
Your
he told me to
son,
come on over.
He IM'd you?
Yes, sir.
You can sit down. How did he know to IM you?
I don't know, sir, honest.
So he just chose you out of the blue and said, come on over, get naked, and walk into the kitchen.
Well, I sat there talking to him for a little bit, yes.
And what'd you guys talk about?
We were just talking about anything, sir.
How old are you?
Anything.
I'm 29, sir.
29.
Eh.
And what do you do for a living?
I drive a school bus.
You drive a school
That's a rough motherfucking 29.
And you thought it was appropriate to walk into the home of a 14-year-old boy who you thought was alone, buck naked. What was your plan?
I don't know, sir.
What's your full name? And you're a school bus driver or a teacher?
Teacher.
You're a teacher. I'm gonna need to see some ID.
Whoa, Dell! Look at Dell with her big balls walking in, just exposing the. Did she just?
Turned out later that he was not a teacher nor a bus driver. In fact, he was unemployed and had.
I forgot. Hang on. I love Dell from Perverted Justice. Just so usually the background team, especially Perverted Justice, they just hide behind the scenes. But Dell just walked out,
Teacher.
swinging her legs and the balls between them. Like, oh, what did you bring me? A webcam? Beer? Weed? I'll just take this real quick.
Turned out later that he was neither a teacher nor a bus driver. In fact, he
Dude, I fucking love Dell.
had been for some time.
What a G.
Conduct is this for a high school teacher?
I love Dell.
You're gonna tell me you've never done this?
I'd do anything to get her on the
You
show.
just woke up this morning and said, I'm going to get involved in an internet
Del Harvey.
conversation with a 14-year-old boy. I'm going to go to his house, strip naked, and walk in with a 12-pack of beer. This was just something you thunk up today.
No, sir. I'm going to talk to him about it online.
John?
Dude.
Yes, sir.
Let me just see the driver's license.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, sorry doesn't cut it. What would have happened? What would have happened, John, if I wasn't here?
I probably would have chickened out, sir.
Chickened out. Do you see why that is hard for me to
Oh wait, is he also shaking?
Chickened out.
Yeah, a little. I don't know if you guys can see it from the frame rates, but he's shaking as well.
I do say that is the truth.
You say to him, are you
Man, these
straight,
guys are such
bi, or
fucking
gay?
pussies.
He says gay.
I mean, they're bold enough to be pedophiles and show up to molest a child, but then
You say you are so effing hot, bro. I want
they
to
just
hear
get
your
so
voice.
fucking caught off guard.
I was just chatting. I was just
Chatting, you're sitting in this kitchen naked.
If you're this scared...
That's a step beyond chatting, isn't it?
Yeah, look at his fingers.
yes, sir. What there?
I don't want to get
If you were this worried of getting caught, don't do it.
in trouble either. You knew this was wrong when you walked in.
Yes, sir.
I think I can learn.
Is that a cross he's wearing? What?
You knew this was wrong when you walked in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a cross too, of course. They all have crosses.
14 years old. Do you know that it's illegal to have a conversation on the internet with the intent to have sex?
PP, you're not wrong. He may be very cold and shivering from the
So
draft.
You came here knowingly violating the law.
Kennelly was significant because not only did he admit what he was doing was wrong, he also admits that he knew it was illegal, and he showed up anyway.
What do you think should happen to you?
I don't know, sir.
Beating.
Well,
Beating.
there's something you gotta know.
We're about to beat you.
The father of the boy.
But I am Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. Anything else you'd like to say to us? We'd like to hear it. If not, you're free to leave.
Thank you.
You can take the towel to the garage and get dressed.
You can get dressed in the garage. By the way, we have cameras in the
Trying to
garage.
grab his clothes and head out the door, and he gets his underwear on and just beelines to get out of there. If he had just left it at that, you know, Kennelly would have been a memorable character, but what he did the next day just put him over the top.
Oh god.
Less than 24 hours later, he's back in a chat room. I have been in television for 24 years. I'm just gonna get something to eat. John.
Tries to fuck another kid.
So they're talking about a meeting?
Nobody has ever gone through what that man went through when he got to this.
Underoos, I think this was before they had the cops on their
This
side.
guy leaves our house,
Before the police was involved in this investigation.
and less than 24 hours later, there he is in a chat room trying to make a date with another young teenage boy.
Yeah, this was definitely before.
But it was the same screen name, same everything.
Hydraulic, yeah,
So,
pretty much.
Decoy made a date, and they agreed to meet at a nearby fast food restaurant. We move into position. He walks out of the restaurant, and we're there waiting for him. I remember exactly.
Cake,
what I
that would be
said.
awesome. A version of To Catch a Predator where Chris Hansen just says, "By the way, what you have to know, I'm Chris Hansen with the Westboro Baptist Church," and then a bunch of guys in white hoods and morning stars and, you know, chains walk out and torches.
John, we've been through this before. What are you doing?
They're like, "I'm afraid you picked the wrong house."
Catalog again.
I wonder if that would be
Meeting up with
legal.
another 13-year-old kid, and you're going to meet him here at McDonald's. You identify yourself. You call yourself Shane this time. You ask him a series of personal sexual questions. Is that appropriate talk to be having with someone you think is a 13-year-old boy? No. Last night, you walked into a home naked, hoping to meet a 13-year-old boy. You said you were sorry. It was the first time you'd ever done it. You admitted it was wrong.
Yes, I did.
You left.
Yes, I did, sir.
And within 24
Yes,
hours,
sir.
you're back on the
I
internet
did, sir.
setting up another 13-year-old kid. What is going on? What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't have anything to say for myself.
Well, you should say something, don't you think? I mean, what are we to think you're going to do next? Last night, you walked into a house in suburban Washington,
Naked.
with a 12-pack of beer, hoping to meet a 13-year-old
12-pack of beer. That's what Dell took away, by the way, you guys. She saw the 12-pack, and she had to interrupt the camera shoots in order to get the 12-pack.
13, and you set up a meeting here at this fast food restaurant. What was your intention?
I don't know.
Don't you think you need some help?
I'm seeing a psychiatrist.
Do you see why I was skeptical last night when you said...
When you get those...
No, I can't, John. I can't do that. That's their job, is to record video and audio.
Del.
Put yourself in this position. So don't get tough with that. Do you see why I was skeptical last night when you said it was the very first time you'd ever done something like that?
It was, though.
Oh, how can I believe that? And how do we know that you're not going to go out tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day and do this again?
Why are your DMs not open, Del? I just want you on the show,
So
please.
extreme, a guy show up naked and then come back the next day.
Motherfucker.
You realize and you get a better understanding of how strong
That bitch was having keg stands with pedophile beer. She was having a good fucking time.
First, perhaps porn sites, chat rooms. But ultimately, that isn't enough to satisfy some of these guys. And that's when you see them, I think, take these extreme measures and risk so much to actually have a face-to-face meeting.
Her email might be on there, says King Cactu.
How long have you been seeing a psychiatrist?
No.
A little over a year. And why were you seeing it?
Because I had a family breakdown.
Meaning what exactly?
This woman doesn't even tweet.
And I never handled it well.
Yeah.
Is that what you attribute this sort
Damn
of
it.
behavior to?
I'm guessing, yeah.
That sounds like a cop.
Cake, she's at Trust and Safety at Twitter now.
What happens if you really did meet a 13-year-old boy? What happens?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's illegal to have a talk on the internet with a minor
Since this is about to end, I'll
with intent to have sex
make
with that minor.
one new
You've done
poll
it
here.
twice in 2 days that we know of. That's a federal offense. You can go to prison for it. Do you know that?
Yes.
Then why do you do it?
I need help, and that's what I'm seeing a psychiatrist for.
And you're going to find help here at McDonald's?
No.
You're going to find help from a 13-year-old boy?
No.
Experts in the field, after hearing all this,
Oh, he's fidgeting again.
suggest that last night wasn't your first time, and today isn't your second time, that you've been doing this for a very long time, John.
No, I haven't.
Do you understand why that's hard for me to believe? I mean, is there any reason for us to think that you won't just go ahead and do this again tomorrow?
I got 2 appointments with my psychiatrist tomorrow.
Fuck your psychiatrist. Who's your psychiatrist? Fucking Hannibal Lecter?
I'm going to go home and call him.
You consider yourself a predator?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
Night, Goro.
And he walks off, shoes untied, gets into his pickup truck, and drives off. And I'm thinking, I just can't believe what I've just seen. When we started these investigations, you know, the goal was to understand what goes on in these guys' minds that makes them think it's okay to show up at a house where a young teen is alone and try to have a sexual relationship. After you talk to a guy like Kennelly, you have a better understanding of the addictive nature of the internet and of the compulsion some of these guys develop. But it also makes you wonder how you deal with a guy like that. And so while it answers some questions, it often raises more.
Okay, that's a good statistic. 4 out of 5. Not bad. 80%. Supervised release. Fuck you. Wait, Aladdin what? No. This guy just went back to his home country. not Luke, no. Why would you suspend this of all people? Of all the people on the show, you suspend this man's sentence? The guy who walked naked into the house ready to molest a child? Are you fucking kidding me? It was like 5 steps ahead of every other pedophile. All the other pedophiles, at least they brought webcams, beer, gifts in general, right? To woo the child. To like fool the 12-year-old with, oh, hey, I brought you an NVIDIA graphics card. Yeah, so wanna kiss and then maybe we can get naked. This guy he skipped all of the steps. He immediately walks in naked, ready to fuck a child. And he's the one who never serves a single year in prison? Are you fucking kidding me? What judge? Who's the judge? The judge suspended his sentence. What judge? And why? Was he the judge? Was he related to the judge? What the fuck is going on? Okay, let's check out the vote here. What would you do? 61%. I think I can take a piss until that vote ends. Even better yet, how about I run a quick ad break and then all the subscribers, they can be the only ones who see my booty in my undies. Alright, subscribers, please pretend like my ass is hot and not flabby. I trust you guys.